Now, I have been, for the last couple of days, working on what could very well be a regular series, but it's covering something, or it's responding to something, reacting to something that really I should have done a long time ago, and I'm surprised that more people haven't, considering how it's perfect fodder for it, and it was a TV show that started in 2013 that was called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. Now, for those of you who never watched this show, it's not as easy to find as it used, because it's literally, you can't even find clips of it on YouTube, and the reason for that is it was universally agreed upon between from everyone, from the most hardened skeptic all the way up to the most deranged info warrior, that this was the shittest fucking thing ever, right? This was the Room, or or Birdemic, or Sharknado of fucking documentaries, right? It makes US kitchen nightmares look like some 20-hour ASMR video of a flower growing. It is insanely stupid. And originally I was just going to play it, right? And originally I was just going to play the fucking thing and react to it, and it was going to be a bit of a laugh. But the problem with me is that I kept wanting to actually, refute everything he said properly, But then it just turned into, it's a 45-minute show, and it can be it's a bit sort of, obviously they're all a bit complicated. So I thought, here's an idea, why don't I do 2 reactions? I'll play it now and do the sort of much more sillier, straightforward one, right? Much sort of just fucking around one, and then I can actually make a proper one with actual, where I actually refute. Not that you really need to refute. This show on its own has I reckon it deconverted, or fucking got more bloody conspiracy theorists out of the game than every skeptic, a debunker or scientist in the world combined, right? Because it's embarrassingly bad. And it amazingly got 3 seasons. It got 3 seasons of the show, and I was going to do, now the first episode, which I started watching, which it said on the website that I found it. The first one was Harp, and then I clicked on it, and it wasn't Harp. It was 9/11. So even the fucking website that uploaded this shit couldn't get, unless it's a massive cover-up. Like, that's how big the cover-up is, But the thing is, the reason it only went on for 3 seasons is because you could tell by season 3 that he really had ran out of fucking ideas, right? Let me just, I'll give you the, and you'll see this massive decline here we are, right? This is the show, right. This was the list of episodes. So season 1, you'll see Harp, 9/11, global warming, Big Brother, secret societies, Manchurian Candidate, and the Apocalypse 2012. Right now, there's like one wacky one at the end, the 2012 one, but that's all pretty standard stuff, right? Season 2, Plum Island, Area 51, Wall Street. I don't know if he's claiming Wall Street doesn't exist. The Police State, that got banned, that one. That's only ever been played once on television. The JFK assassination, the Great Lakes, and the Gulf oil spill. The Gulf oil spill and the Pentagon. Pentagon's actually got 6 sides, yeah? They're fucking with us, right? But now, season 3. You've got to look at, this is what season 3 is. Reptilians, the Death Ray, time travel, Ozarks, I don't even know what they are, Skinwalker, don't know what that is either, Manimal, don't know what that fucking is, and Brain Invaders, I don't know what the fuck they are either. So of the 7 episodes, there are about 5 things that even I haven't heard of, and I've heard about more fucking weird shit than most people. But it's so, I mean, it's so terribly bad. It's like if anyone was watching it and they like, it's the sort of thing where you can enjoy it for you can. It's crap, but it's good, and it's crap. But let me see if I can. Oh God, there we go. Let's put that back on. Yeah. Right. Hold on. Okay, right, okay, that's not working. Right, wrong. I'm on the wrong. I got the wrong one. That's why. Right. Oh, look at that! It's fucking working already. Okay, right, hold on. Right, now I'm hoping YouTube won't fuck me on this. Wrong one. So maybe I think the best thing to do is to sit over here. If I sit here and want to be I don't want to make it too big because I'm trying to make sure. Actually, can I fucking flip this video? Can I flip it around and then? No. No. Effects. Let's see what I've got here. Video effects. Image adjust. No. Geometry. Here we go. No. Okay, that's the wrong way round. That's upside down. Okay. Let's. No, that's fuck it. That's that way. Right. Okay, that's upside down again. Now it's the right way round. And no. Now it's the right way. Is that the right way round or not? I can't remember. Hold on. No, that was it. Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay, we'll leave that there. Now I'm gonna have to put that on there. Right, now I need to test the sound. Okay, I just need to test the sound. So I need to know what it sounds like from your end. Hold on. Yep.
Hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption.
That's a bit loud, isn't it? I mean, listen to it already. It sounds fucking ridiculous, doesn't it? It's just his voice is just insanely stupid. Now, wait. Let me try that again.
Hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption.
How's that? No, it's not a new place. Stop it. Yeah. Much better. Okay. Let me just try.
Hidden power, secrets, cover-up.
Okay. Obviously, I'm brainwashing you by repeating it. Okay, what about that last one? What was that like? Because if that was awful, it's because actually that should be okay. Right. So we okay? There's a noticeable echo. Okay. Okay. Oh, I've got a better idea. Hold on. If I just go straight through the camera, hold on.
Hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption.
What about that? No echo. That's good. Right. Okay then. Right. In which case, you all know the intro by now. It's Jesse Ventura. A man who used to wax his chest, put on tight lycra underpants and roll around half naked with other men. Jesse Ventura, who obviously used to be a professional wrestler. Now, back when he was a professional wrestler, it was still something that was promoted and sold as real. And so it was something that put on the illusion of reality, but actually had someone, behind the curtain that you couldn't see, planning everything and making it all this chaos look like make it all scripted. And he's gone from that to conspiracy theories, which is where you look at actual reality and then you pretend that there is someone behind a curtain writing all of this and planning it all out. I don't know whether this is there's a few wrestlers. It's not something that's uncommon amongst professional wrestlers. I don't know if they've just been hit on a fucking head too many times, or it's just the fact that they cannot deal with the idea of not living a life where everything they do is scripted. Right. Strap yourselves in, folks. This is Jesse. This is conspiracy theory with Jesse, the body, the governor, the former Navy SEAL, the guy from Predator, and Running Man, and probably other things. Sitting here with the lights reflecting off his bald nut. Okay, so.
Hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption.
None of these things will be exposed or actually shown tonight. But those are words, aren't they?
You think you know the whole story?
No.
Think again.
Oh, I do. Okay, brilliant. I'll turn it off then. Yeah.
I've been governor
for less than one term, and he couldn't be bothered because the media were harassing him, so he didn't want to do it. Because Jesse Ventura is a massive fucking whiny bitch. He really is. All he does, like most of his main arguments when he was interviewed, was him pissing and moaning about how governor of Minnesota was him moaning about how, why do people always attack you when you ask questions about 9/11? Because you're exploiting a tragedy for money, Jesse? Could be something to do with it. I'm just, what do I know? I'm just a girl who can't say no.
A Navy SEAL.
A Navy SEAL. He was a dark blue, fucking big, walrus.
A fighter.
A fighter. A sort of fight. A pretend fight. A guy who pretended to fight and didn't actually hit anyone, and all of the matches he won or lost were determined by scriptwriters and promoters. But he was a fighter. He probably fought someone once. He beat. He nearly beat Schwarzenegger in Running Man. Even though that was staged. He can't even win he has to win a fake fight in a fucking fake film.
I've heard things that'll blow your mind.
He was a wrestler in the 80s, so if there's one thing that Jesse Ventura definitely knows, it's blow.
And now I think it's time you get the whole story.
Really? Well, I'm glad you think that, Jesse. It's a shame that you will not deliver, but hey, fuck it.
Now Jesse steps into America's most controversial conspiracy.
The Jews.
The attacks of 9/11.
It wasn't the attacks of 9/11, it was the attacks on 9/11. 9/11 didn't attack anyone. That's when it happened. You can't... can't even get that right. You know, they can't even get this fucking basic shit right.
If everything they told us was true, then why would they need the stone walls?
Because you're being an annoying prick, that's why. You're saying the same shit. This came out in 2013, by the way. So this is 12 years removed from 9/11. And by the way, this no actual like big cable channel would take this. This was broadcast on a channel called True TV. Well, now they can't even spell that. They've spelled that fucking backwards and wrong. You know? But yeah. So it was on True TV, which, you know, doesn't sound like they're desperately trying to fucking, you know, make you believe something.
Was the official 9/11 report a whitewash? And
I think the one thing about 9/11 is it was definitely not a whitewash. Everyone blamed for it was Brown.
cover up?
These people are lying to us.
These people are lying to us. And look, he was an old man with glasses and a hat. He must know what he's talking about. He loves to do this. Just put random clips of complete nobodies who are just random people on the street. And he puts dramatic music over it, and we're supposed to sit here and go, oh, wow.
Did the terrorists use more than jetliners to do their devastating damage?
Yes, they used box cutters and jetliners and another jetliner and a fourth jetliner. They used well, I mean, the jetliner, you know, really had a lot of stuff in it. You know, I mean, it's not just a jetliner. You know, I think that's enough, really. I mean, if you've got a jetliner filled with fuel that's travelling at like 750 miles an hour, if you need more than that in a fight, you know, really, you know, you have to ask yourself, maybe you should do some self-defence.
There's residues of explosives in the dust.
What he just said there is complete bollocks. That is a guy called Stephen Jones, not the guy from the Sex Pistols.
Is the FBI hiding the flight recorders they say have never been recovered?
No, they're not, because they actually were recovered, all of them. You know, from Flight 77 and 93, both fucking recorders, and all of the stuff they found on them is online. Again, this is 12 years later. They don't even know that. They think that the fucking recorders were never found. Right? And by the way, black box recorders are not indestructible, and they're certainly not built to a standard where they can survive an exploding plane and then a building landing on top of them.
The odds of not finding these black boxes are almost zero.
Yeah, yes, they are almost zero, which is because they found them. That doesn't matter, right? But if it's almost zero, this is one rule of conspiracies, right? Every single impossibility that supports your fucking that supports your conspiracy, you go with it and go, well, it could be. Whereas every single unlikelihood or impossibility that supports the other side is just ridiculous. Right? Also, second rule of conspiracy theories. In the world of conspiracy theories, coincidences never happen.
And was Ground Zero a crime scene
Yeah.
that Washington obliterated in plain sight?
I think it's still a crime scene, isn't it? I mean, it's in New York. People are probably still getting stabbed and murdered there, you know.
There's something about 9/11 our government doesn't want us to know.
Yes, that's why that you were allowed to make this television program with high production quality and put it onto broadcast television and have it sponsored by corporations and make money from it. That's why, because that's obviously what the government, what the NWO would do, is they would allow you. In fact, I would actually, given how bad this show is, if I was in the NWO, I'd say let Jesse Ventura make this fucking show. We will have. There will be more people. Will be phoning up the Illuminati saying they want to work for us. You know.
These are questions that few have dared to ask.
They are questions that literally millions of fucking people have been asking. And that's all they ever do. We're just asking questions. Yeah, that's the problem. You just ask the same questions again and again, over and over for 20 fucking years. And no matter what people tell you, you don't want to accept the answer. Right? That's the problem. Loads of... And he's making out... He's so full of shit. He's making out that he's the... No one's dared to ask these questions. Did space lasers... did the Jewish space lasers bring down Twin Towers? Yeah, There's a reason why people are scared to ask that question, because they don't want to look fucking mental.
Let alone investigate.
Yeah, yes, they have a bit. They don't need. They did investigate them. They found they were wrong.
It was a false flag attack.
Look, a man, an old man with like flappy jowls and a little tiny moustache who's fat. Right? Let me look. He's got a shirt on. Right? He's probably wearing trousers as well. Oh, it's gone black and white.
America by Americans.
On America, by Americans, for America. Well, then shut the fuck up then.
The unthinkable.
Yeah, that definitely is true. This show is going to... There's going to be a lot of unthinking in this.
The all too real.
Yeah, that too.
The 9/11 conspiracy.
Look! Oh my god, another fat bloke with a beard who's got a scarf on and glasses, who's balding as well. He's not as bald as Jesse Ventura. Look at the light reflecting off his fucking bald nut. Let's say, get the camera out of my face. I mean, who is this guy? Dude, you don't need the camera out of your face. I don't know who you fucking are. Right? You're nobody. Right? You're a man sat there in a cafe. Right? He's probably a raging pedophile as well, but I don't know this, right? Now check this intro out. Right? Check out how long Jesse Ventura drags this fucking intro.
I'm Jesse Ventura, and this is Conspiracy Theory.
See, the longer you hold the note, the more dread. Oh, hold on. Let me just do something. Let's see if I can playback. Playback speed slower. Playback speed slower. This is more like it.
11 conspiracy. Just
I'm Jesse Ventura, and this is Conspiracy Theory.
And I am pissed out of my fucking brains. If he had his way, that would go on for about half an hour. It makes me think that maybe they're trying to pad this out a bit. You know. Oh shit! I don't want to go faster. Although he did sound drunk in that fucking clip, so. You know, Jesse Ventura's not as bad. I mean, Steven Seagal is proper bonkers. I mean, he's bonkers in a way that I almost kind of like him. I mean, look at him, Jesse. Look at the state of this fucking prick. Put your hat on. Do you think you're fucking... Look, he's like the world's worst cat burglar. Look at the state of him. He's not even in slow motion. That's how he walks.
Jesse Ventura cares deeply about his country.
So much so that he's going to accuse people who work within emergency services of deliberately murdering people.
But no event did more to shake his beliefs than the attacks of September 11th.
Okay, this is something this narrator does that I think is genuinely distasteful. He makes all these little sort of... He uses this language that, you know, ties in with what happened on 9/11. So he says, you know, it shook Jesse's, you know, patriotism to its very foundation. So much so that Jesse Ventura didn't realise he was a conspiracy theorist until 2005. Took him 4 years. Right? Took him 4 pissing years.
2001.
2001. Oh, those were the days. Do you remember 2001? Oh, everything. You know, back then you could, you know, being a white man was still so much easier.
Now,
there he goes. Look at him. He's got a camera crew with him. They must have been standing there before, like, to get that shot. He's got his fucking stupid little bobble hat on, his stupid little rat tail coming out. It's like Tim Paul in the future. Is this the ghost of Tim Paul future?
oh, he leads a raid on the hangar where
He leads a raid. This is a fucking raid. Jesse Ventura strolling into a car park.
evidence from Ground Zero is hidden. He's on a mission.
He's on a mission. Look at him. He's just wandering around. Nobody gives a shit. He probably asked permission so he could get in there. They're going, oh, for fuck's sake, he's Ventura here. Just send him to Hangar 17. It's fucking the furthest one away. Drippy old twat.
Get up here!
Get up here now!
This is what they don't want me to see.
This is what they don't want me to see. This stuff that I can clearly see behind this window, right here, now, on camera. Right? This is what they don't want me to see, which is why I was allowed to walk here on the premises and film it. It's so... see what I mean? It's so transparently fucking shite. Oh, look at that. There you go, folks. That's the smoking gun right there. That thing there. You know, that. I mean, if you're not convinced by this, then... Hello?
With 9/11, some things just never added up for
Like your toes.
me. Why weren't those jetliners brought down?
Because they didn't know where they were going. In fact, they almost did bring them down. There was almost an order to. But if you've got two jet... How bad would it have looked, Jesse, if the US government, without knowing where these jets were going, just blew them up and killed everyone on the plane? Right? Do you not see? I mean... Can you not see how that might be that maybe before we shoot it down, we should find out where they're going? And had they known where they were going, yeah, they probably might have tried to like clip its wings or something, you know. Because that's a good thing. It's a good job when you ran for president, he didn't win. Can you imagine if he'd just be shooting everything out of the frigging sky?
Why did the buildings go down so quickly?
They didn't actually go down as quickly as you're going to claim they were. And in fact, I would ask a question, Jesse. How exactly are buildings that big supposed to fall? Right? They're the two biggest buildings in the world, and they're a big straight thing. How are they supposed to fall? They're going to fall downwards, aren't they? And that's it. And they fell how you would expect them to fall. They're not going to go that way or that way, are they? No, they're going to go down.
I knew this investigation was going to get some people pretty angry.
You love it. You love it. You're such a fucking... You desperate to be a victim.
But I also knew I owed this one to the victims.
You owed this to the victims, who are probably looking up at you now while they're burning in hell, dying for you to go down there and join them. This is actually quite uncomfortable. I feel, I don't want to bust on the woman he's about to talk to because, she's the mother of someone who died. But this has got to be some of the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. This is like if Tommy Wiseau made an amateur porn with Uwe Boll. It is, just check it out,
Hi, how are you? Donna, nice to meet you. It all began when I got a call from Donna Marsh O'Connor.
Wait a minute. Her name is Donna Connor. Really? Okay, you got a call from Mrs. Connor. You know Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could have got him to come round and go, I'm looking for Donna Connor. It would have been fucking brilliant, right? And it wouldn't have been any more or less disrespectful and insulting than what you're doing now.
She lost her daughter on September the 11th. Vanessa Langer worked in the trade center. She was 4 months pregnant.
She still is.
I don't want to bring up a lot of pain.
I don't want to bring up the fact that your daughter, your only child, who was pregnant 4 months with your only grandchild, is now dead. I don't want to bring this up, and I don't want to get it on film and broadcast it and make money from it. But, right?
Please, I want to make this really clear. When you say when 9/11 ended, it still did.
Look, this is what I feel bad for. I get it, right? You're grieving, you're upset, and you want this to make sense. But it's not going to make sense. Nothing. You're not happy with the answers. Guess what? There's no answers. There's no answers that they could have given you that you would have been happy with.
Still didn't end for me. It will never end for the country as long as we don't investigate what
it was investigated.
Exactly happened.
It was investigated, and they found out what exactly happened, or at least roughly what happened. And let me tell you something. They did it more than this fucking little ball. Look at this fucking Ills Have Eyes prick up here.
We never had an investigation.
Yes, they did. You had some of the... You will not believe... It's like when people say that, that talk about the Holocaust, and they talk about it as if it was this event that had very little record, and it was the most recorded, and there's more evidence for it than anything else on planet Earth. And it's the same with 9/11. The investigation, the levels that went into the investigation are mind-boggling. We'll get onto them.
And my kid is a victim of the second plane?
Right, to be fair, I know I'm nitpicking here, it wasn't really the plane's fault. I don't think you should say the victim of the plane. The plane didn't have a choice in the matter. I'd like to think if the plane did have a choice, it would have, definitely not flown into the building and killed your daughter. But just don't blame the plane, right?
Why would I not ask questions?
Because you will ask questions, but unfortunately, those questions will never ever be. You'll never be happy. There's never going to be any answer that could be given to you that would make you go, "Oh, that's what happened." Oh, I get it now. Would there? It's not going to happen. That's why it's never going to. You're grieving.
I'm not a scientist.
I know you're not. See, who had that on their bingo cards, right? I'm not a scientist. No, you're not. And presumably, the reason you mentioned that is because you know that scientists, what they know is, should be respected and listened to. And I wonder why you don't want to do that with the people who are scientists.
But all I want is for someone to validate the questions.
They have been. They have validated. But no one owes you an answer if you ask a silly question.
And have every American citizen exposed to the questions.
Donna O'Connor made it.
Donna O'Connor sat on a Donna and. Oh God! Now I've got on. Yeah. Oh no.
Very clear that she.
Dora. It's like a Brian Butterfield character. Donna O'Connor fell on a Donna.
And other 9/11 survivors.
She's not a 9/11 survivor, Jesse. I'm not on a bust on her, but she ain't a survivor. Stop trying to over exaggerate her situation make it seem make it seem more severe. You don't have to. Her child died who was pregnant, right? That's bad enough, right? But if you're going to say she's a survivor, then technically so am I and everyone in this room.
Are not satisfied with the official answers.
Well, you'd know about not satisfying people, wouldn't you, Jesse? And if just because you're not... See, right there, what he said is so telling. The reason they're investigating it is because they're not satisfied. That's it. I mean, that's not a good enough reason, is it?
Uncovering the truth.
Would you rather that they turned out that rather than it was, say, 19 Islamic extremists who did it for, religious and political reasons? What if it was just like 19 Arabs who were in fancy dress who did it for a laugh? Would that make it any better?
Exposing the lies.
Look at him, he's showing pictures of the child. This is such fucking manipulative bullshit.
We ease the pain. That was good enough for me.
You won't ease the pain. This bit here, this fucking goodbye, this is amazing. This should have won an Emmy.
Donna, thank you.
Bye, Governor.
Bye, Jess. Thank you, Governor Jesse.
We need you.
We need you. Keep fighting,
investigation...
man. Look at his fucking guts sticking out here, for God's sake. And they say Black is slimming. Imagine what he looked like wearing pastels. Jesus Christ.
Moves to the banks of the Hudson River.
We went to the banks where the Jews are. No, not those banks. We went to the Ernie Hudson River.
Under an empty sky.
Under an empty sky, under cover of daylight, with nothing in the sky to cover us. This 6'6", fucking 400-pound monster of a man with a camera crew following him was keeping a low profile as he does a Hitler salute into the sky.
Where the World Trade Towers once loomed. The governor meets the last man out of the last tower.
This motherfucker. Now, I could make an entire video, that would probably be into 2 hours long, just on this geezer, right? His name is William Rodriguez, right? And I'm not going to be able to cover everything regarding him, but I'll do as best I can. But this is the thing about this show. There's so many moments where they fill it up with utterly useless and stupid information that makes them just look foolish, like this here.
The fall.
You see that peak over there?
With a round one? Yes, correct. Right there.
There you go, look at that. It's only 5 minutes in, and already they've managed to work out where the Twin Towers used to be on the skyline. And of course, Jesse didn't know, which is kind of worrying. That Mexican geezer had to point it out to him. Right? I don't know why it matters where they used to be. Right? They're definitely not coming back. This ain't David Copperfield and the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, okay. William Rodriguez was a maintenance worker at number 2 World Trade Center.
He was a maintenance worker. He was a janitor. He claims to have worked there for 20 years. Interesting fact about William Rodriguez. They said there he was the last man out of this last building. I don't know why. they said the last building, there were only 2. And I don't know why it matters when he got out, you know. Like, it wasn't like last one out's a wanker. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. William Rodriguez was not the last person out of that building. He claims that he was, because he's embellished and lied about every single part of it, of what happened that day. In fact, he was the last one out. He told the police as he was leaving he was the last one out of the building. The building collapsed, and within 24 hours they had found 18 people who were in the rubble who had lived. So he was not the last man out of that building, right? But because he had to be, 18 people were crushed under the tower.
He has a story that not only contradicts the official 9/11 account, but shakes it to its very foundation.
Shakes it to its foundation, you insensitive prick. Not only does he have... This is where it gets interesting again. Is not only does his account contradict the official story, it actually contradicts the original version of the account of what happened that William Rodriguez gave. Because he initially gave one version of events, which, as you can imagine, was very sort of like, you know, it was as best he could remember. It's a stressful situation. He didn't have much time. But it matched up with literally everyone else. Now remember this, there were tens of thousands of people there that day. Like tens of thousands of them, right? And this guy has gone a version of the event that he suddenly came up with 5 years later. So this is and you can tell this is bullshit for 2 reasons. One, not a single human being that he claims to have helped escape or saved, and sometimes it goes between 10, 15, sometimes he even says hundreds of people that he helped rescue and save their lives. Not one person has come forward to confirm and to back up what he said. And the firemen didn't do it, the police didn't do it, no one in the vicinity did it. He's the only person with this version of events. And the other reason is that you can tell he's talking out of his arse is because he's doing that thing that people who are recounting a story when they lie, in that it contains ridiculous amounts of detail, like to a degree that no one would be able to, recall particularly under the circumstances of 9/11, right? And it's interesting the fact as well. He worked at the Trade Center for 20 years, but do you know what he was doing before that? He was a magician, and in fact, he was the magic assistant for James Randi, and he wanted to be a magician, a famous, a celebrity magician, whatever, because he's clearly mental, right? But then he started working at the Twin Towers, and then they needed him to do more work, so he had to quit magic. Now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily connected, it could just be a coincidence, but I find it interesting that this guy who was desperate to get into show business and desperate to be famous to make lots of money has decided to use the one thing that made him famous and to go down the obvious road of pimping out conspiracy theories, which you're about to see.
At 8:46,
At 8:46, that's when the first plane hit. Now, you wouldn't say 8:46, would you? You would say back quarter to 9.
In front of the office, we hear an explosion very loud.
He heard an explosion very loud. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that explosion must have been the first plane.
Which is upwards.
It was upward. He heard an explosion that was upwards. Think about that for a second. He heard he's in the basement, and he heard an explosion, and it came from below. So whatever there was that exploded must have been underneath the building.
Upwards. All the walls shaped. They cracked. The first ceiling fell on top of us. The sprinkler system got activated.
All of this stuff's happening. All of this stuff happens following this. Right? Following all of this stuff. Right? There's an explosion upwards. Right? And it cracks the walls, the ceiling falls down, the sprinklers go off, right? Someone he shits himself, right? The fucking escalator stops going, right? Slushy machines all over the frigging place.
Water started spewing everywhere.
Water was spewing everywhere.
Everyone was screaming in horror.
Everybody was screaming in horror. See what I mean? Yes, of course they were, mate. Because it sounds like, cool. Yeah, I'm just going out on a limb here. It sounds like the planes just hit the building.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Now, was this a result from the plane?
Was this a result from the plane?
No. This is before the.
This was before the plane. So he's claiming that there was an initial explosion that came from underneath the building that happened before the plane hit. Right, now, one of the conspiracy theories with 9/11 is that there were bombs going off in the foundations. This would make no sense whatsoever because the buildings ultimately collapsed and gave way at the points where the big plane that exploded hit them. So, but that wouldn't have even mattered anyway because the plane hasn't hit yet, right? But this explosion happens.
This explosion
Came from below. But the first thing that
This
I
explosion came from below. It was hell. It was Satan, right?
thought it was that it came from the mechanical room.
He thought it came from what you thought the mechanical room had exploded. You're the janitor.
That was on the basement number 2.
Basement number
I
2.
went to say, it may be when we hear
I went to say, see what I mean? Details like that. And then we hear,
all the way on the top
That's
of the
the
building,
plane.
and I speculated that it was the plane hitting.
I speculate. Can we just dissect that sentence? I heard the bang, happen, and I speculated it was the. Why would you think that? Why would a bomb's just gone off? Just underneath you. He worked at the Trade Centre in '93, which was when there was an attack there where vans were parked at the base of the building. Right? And then he hears a bang upstairs, and he goes, "Oh, that's probably a jumbo jet. Sounded like a Boeing 787. Probably about 120 people on it. Yeah, travelling at about 684 miles an hour. It sounds to me. Yes. Horseshit.
So
Now this is important. Look me in the eye and tell me you would remember this.
these two explosions were completely separate.
Completely separate.
Now, sorry, it's coming up, right? I thought that was the bit where he said he talks about the separate explosions, but now
The official 9/11 story says hijacked jets brought down the towers.
I mean, why? Oh, how amusing.
Not explosive devices.
To be fair, I think you could say that the jets were explosive devices. In fact, because they did explode, didn't they? I mean, they crashed into the building and then they exploded. I would say that's an explosive device. It's not a traditional one, but it's a fucking explosive device, isn't it?
If you can remember,
Now, if you can remember, or he can remember, Jesse, this guy's fucking Rain Man, apparently. Right, now, listen to this.
how much time would you say was between the two explosions?
Now, how much time do you think would have to be between those two explosions for you to remember and to not connect the two? This is how long it was.
6 or 7 seconds.
6 or 7 seconds. That's the gap. 6 or 7, not a few seconds, not 5 seconds, 6 or 7. So a rumble happened, a bomb, 6 or 7 seconds later, and he must have done, roughly, because why would you say 6 or 7 if you weren't paying attention? Now, if I can find William Rodriguez's initial, here it is, right? Right. Where is I've got a document here that's got all of the things he's ever said, this cunt, and I can show you the different. He's actually told 3 different versions of the story because he embellishes it, gets more ridiculous. He's basically John McClane at the moment. No, not that one. Pentagon. Here we go. Rodriguez. No. This is timeline. No, I've got it. Oh, here. No. Where the fucking hell is it? Ah, right. Where the bloody hell's it gone? You absolute twat. Right. Right. I will find it. And I have to now because I'm too committed. Okay, we've got all the summary. Yeah, all of his account, everything he says, like basically contradicts every single other witness account, and all of theirs line up. You can make of that what you will, but it's Here we are. He says from day one he's told the same story. Okay, so where is it? Sorry, that wasn't it. Honestly, I've got 94 PDF documents here. Downloaded. I shit you not. Right. I didn't want to, but it's complicated. You know what I mean? Claims of media suppression. No. Fucking thing, I can't find it. Right, basically what he essentially said initially was that they heard this noise from above. They heard a big bang, then they heard a slightly bigger one, which is obviously one's the plane hitting the building, the other, and he said the walls rattled, the walls shook. Right. Oh, and he doesn't mention this in this bit, but he later claimed that a guy called Philippe David, right, who was just literally a few floors above, came down in the elevator on fire, right? Because as the planes went in, all of the fuel in the fuel tanks exploded, and all of the fuel went down the elevator shafts, and it was all catching fire. This created a fireball, and this poor bastard, Philippe David, apparently got caught right in the fucking mush with it. And he then decides to take the elevator down to the first floor, because obviously if you're on fire, you're going to be thinking that rationally. Right? And this guy, Rodriguez, claims that when Philippe David, this is the bit that doesn't make any sense, he claims that he was literally, all of his skin was burnt off, and it was hanging off of his arms and stuff like that. And then he said he thought he had a red t-shirt on, but it wasn't a red t-shirt, it was just soaked in blood. So what he's claiming is that this guy was burnt so badly that it melted his skin off, but somehow his shirt survived. Now I don't know what shirt this was. I want one in every colour. If it can survive that. He then claimed that he then made a claim that he picked this guy up and he carried him 6 blocks, and then he claimed he picked him up and he ran with him. It's, you know. But here's the thing, Philippe David, right? No, again, nothing backs it up. Again, he's the only person. Right? This is the thing you've got to remember. It's the most important thing. He is the only person with this story. Not a single person. Nobody has given this version of it. There was another person who claims there was another explosion that happened from below.
That close.
That close. He counted.
He wasn't the only one that felt this.
He wasn't the only one that felt it. Well, I would hope not, William, because what that would mean is that the terrorists had made a bomb that only you could feel. Also, here's the question. There's 2 questions. If there is a bomb underneath the building that goes off seconds before the plane hits, the bomb, and it hit at 8:46 and some change, surely what that means is the bomb must have been detonated at some point, because you wouldn't set it for that time. So that means there's someone sat there with a button or a lever. to make sure that the bomb goes off at the same time as the plane, right? But here's the question, but the second question, even if there's a bomb, this bomb went off, the building did not collapse for an hour. What sort of bomb, what is the point in setting a bomb off, one bomb underneath one of the buildings, there was no bomb under the second building, no bomb went off there. So what you're saying is they had a bomb that managed to somehow destroy the tower an hour after it went off. But only you noticed this. That's even dumber than the controlled demolition traditional setup.
There were the 14 people inside the office.
Oh yeah, there were 14 people inside the office who he claims were all hysterical, but he stayed calm and he managed to save all of their lives. Again, not one of these people has come forward. None of them. No, not one of them. They didn't testify. He's not naming anybody. No, you would think, wouldn't you? This guy saved your life. You'd think they would be coming forward saying, yes, we felt that. We felt that other explosion. But no.
Did all you people tell this to the...
Or you people? What, you mean Mexicans, Jesse? You racist. Did he tell it to the 9/11 Commission report? Oh, yes, he did.
9/11 Commission?
I testified for the 9/11 Commission behind closed doors.
Why behind closed doors?
Because the majority of the testimonies and for the 9/11 Commission were behind closed doors, and the reason for that, Jesse, is because there were fucking shitloads of them. In fact, in the short space of time that they had, they interviewed, right? They took testimonies from over 1,200 people. Right? He is one of 1,200 people who were fucking interviewed about what happened to them on that day, right? And only of the 1,200, there were only 12 hearings that took place in public and 155 people. So the majority of them were actually. It's not like it was special, right? Of course, they were going to they're going to go there. But here's the problem: the only person. So there were like 1,050 more people. 1,050 more people who were also behind closed doors, all of whom disagreed with this guy. None of whom said there was another bomb.
Well, my speculation was that they didn't want the story to be out.
Your speculation is they didn't want the story to be out, which is why after you had told them this and they thought, shit, this guy heard about the other bomb, this guy knows about that, well, we best just let him go free, and that's the sensible thing to do. I'm sure he won't tell anyone. Are these people, how do these people run the world? Right. So you went in there and you gave the game away. You said, I know your game. I know about the fucking other bomb. I know about that fucking that first bomb that went off before, literally 4.8 hundredths of a millisecond before the plane hit. I know about that. I know that it destroyed the core of the tower and dissolved it and reduced it into ash in the inside, like a tooth being rotted out from a meth addict, and then it just collapsed on itself, right? I know about that, and then you told them that you knew this, and they just let you go. And you notice he used the word speculation.
How does the last man out get left out of the 9/11 Commission report?
Because most people were, Jesse. They weren't there to. Do you know how big do you know that as well as interviewing 1,200 people, and each testimony took around about like half an hour or so. As well as doing that, right, they had to read 2.5 million pages of documents, right, and written accounts and reports and from that 2.5 million pages, and 1,200 people, and they had literally they had a few months to get fucking through it all, right? If they didn't leave stuff out. And one of the things they probably thought was, shall we include this bit that this guy said, which is this thing about another bomb that went off that there's no evidence for and that no one else can testify for, no one else fucking felt, and absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Shall we put that in there? And they thought, no, the geezer's mental. And also, it doesn't matter that he's the last man out of the last building. He doesn't get dibs on being in the commission report. It's not like he won the fucking 9/11. He hasn't won the 9/11 World Cup, right? It doesn't matter when he came out of which building he came out of and when.
we've definitely got the makings of a conspiracy.
I can see some bullshit coming through my head now. Now, this, oh my God, I can't believe we're only 6 minutes and 20 seconds into this. This is fucking amazing, right? Brace yourselves.
The governor arrives at his war room.
The governor arrives at his war room, and there we see a black guy, a brown guy, a white guy, and a black chick, and some fag. Right now, this is where it gets really funny. Right.
An elite team of investigators and researchers is at the ready.
Now, if you're in America, you won't know this, right? But she is British. Her name is June Sarpong. She has just been introduced. Right? She's just been introduced as one of the elite teams of researchers. Right? Now she's got a British accent because she used to she was over here. She sort of was on TV over here, and she was a TV presenter. She started off as a presenter for MTV. She used to host radio, music shows, stuff like that. Saturday morning stuff, on Channel 4 and various bits and pieces. She's currently on the Loose Women is the thing she does now. What else is she? I've got the full. I'll give you the full rundown of everything she did beforehand. It's she was on Kiss 100 as a DJ. Then she was on MTV. She then appeared several times on Blankety Blank. She was then on she used to be a host on T4. She was one of the co-hosts of an awful show called Your Face or Mine that was co-hosted with Jimmy Carr. She appears at the Mobile Awards, obviously. She's appeared on Question Time, 8 out of 10 Cats, Never Mind the Buzzcocks. She was also on Bo Selector. She was in if you've seen the TV show, if you've seen Extras, the show Ricky Gervais did, the second sitcom. In the final episode, he goes into the Big Brother house, right? And there's all these has-beens and fucking old failed celebrities in there. She's one of them, and that was before she went over to America, where now she is an elite. She's an elite researcher. Imagine if you're American, imagine seeing a British TV show, right, about conspiracy theories that's hosted by giant haystacks, and one of the elite researchers is Markiplier, right, or Logan Paul. This is the equivalent we've got here. This is absolute fucking shite, right? How did she? Who else was at that interview that they went with June Sarpong? Exactly. I met her once at the Comedy Store. She was there on a fucking gong show night. Just for doing. I mean, I'm not busting on her or anything, but she's got an MBE and an OBE, But she did this, and shame on you, June Sarpong, for doing this. This is why your career didn't take off in America. Because this is the best you could do. But here's the funny thing. This panel of people who literally, apart from June Sarpong and Jesse Ventura, are a Mount Rushmore of who gives a shit, right? Believe it or not, this actually gets worse, this panel of people. By the end, in fact, by the third series, not only has he's got rid of the skeptic, right? The guy who's playing the skeptic. Jesse Ventura has replaced that guy. Do you know who with? Right? He's replaced him with a young man who's what's his name? Oh yeah, it's his son. It's his son Tyrell Ventura, TV, right? Yes. So that's how that went, right? You want to talk, and Jesse Ventura has the gall to sit there and talk about nepotism in politics, dude. You got your son a job on this pile of shit.
He was there the day that the towers were hit.
Now let's make this clear, people. William Rodriguez, he was there on the day that the planes hit. Thank God. Right, make a note of that. He was definitely there, in the building. Was he wearing shoes? Right, okay, good. Why would you tell people that? Why would you point out? Of course he was there on the day. What do you think, he was astral projecting?
And William swears up and down.
He swears. He said, cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye, right? On his mother's life. right? No returns back. He didn't have his fingers crossed behind his back or anything, right? This was real. He swore to me on his life. Right? So he sat there doused in piss.
Oh, this is the intriguing part.
No, it's not.
That an explosion took place below them.
Below them, a bomb went off underneath the fucking... How could you put a bomb underneath the fucking building? And what was it doing? What was the point of it being there? It had no fucking impact whatsoever. And he's the only motherfucker who actually fucking heard it. I mean, this is 2013, Jesse. Do you think you might have heard this by now?
6 to 8 seconds before any...
6 to 8 seconds. Excuse me, Jesse. I think you'll find it was 6 to 7 seconds. Right? Stop lying.
Thing happened way up above.
Below?
Way up above. Below.
Oh.
Below.
Come on now. What's
We jumped to the top, started at the bottom, at the top.
he getting from this?
What's he getting from this? Oh, God, probably a few grand for a fucking speaking arrangement. Maybe like a book deal or two. That's what he's been getting.
Come on now. He was brought in front of the 9/11 Commission. They took him in a private room.
Oh my God, they took him into a private room, just like they did with virtually everyone fucking else. Right.
He testified for 30 minutes.
30 minutes! Oh my God, the intensity of that. How was he able to stand the fucking will of this man? 30 minutes being asked some basic questions and speaking, and then in a room that's probably very well, heated, and then he got up in a comfy chair and then left. God! And Guantanamo fucking people ain't got shit.
And today there's no record of him even being there.
That is a categorical lie, right? There is a full list of everyone who was interviewed who testified, right? Everyone, and you can get transcripts. And after the 9/11 Commission, when he was pimping out all this bullshit, William Rodriguez specifically requested he get to have an interview or to speak to someone at NIST, and he did. And I've got a transcript of that conversation. There has been no attempt to scrub him from the record. Just because his name wasn't mentioned in the final book does not mean he was left out or there's no record. He's on your show, Jesse. If they didn't want you to know about it, why would he fucking be there? You fucking stupid slaphead prick.
Any chance he's not in the record because his story doesn't check out?
Is there any chance he's not on the record because he's talking out of his ass? This guy's got some fucking great eyebrow acting going on here.
His story contradicts the official story.
Well, there you go then. I mean, that's all I need. I'm Jesse Ventura and I'm fucking 8 years old.
Alex, pretty severely.
Pretty severely? I mean, that's not a good thing, Jesse.
Isn't it? Bombs going off.
He doesn't just contradict the official story. The official story came from the testimonies of everybody who was there. You marrow-faced pillock.
Hello? Well, if you don't want that out to the public, why would you acknowledge William Rodriguez?
Why would you let him back out into the public to go and fucking... Again, this is 2013. But at this point, William Rodriguez was very, very much a big figure in the 9/11 truth movement.
Any way, shape, or form.
To just deny or not even acknowledge that the guy testified?
They didn't deny it. You didn't ask.
Come on, that's all shady.
No, it's not. And do you want the list of the other 1,199 people who testified? No. What were their names? You don't remember. One of them was called John, definitely.
They wouldn't call you to testify unless you had something credible to say.
What an absolute pile of shit, June. That's your first line. That's the best you could do. They wouldn't call... He's the janitor of the building, and he claimed to be the last one out there. He was interacting with firemen. You fucking stupid cow. Of course he's got something. He's going to have an interest... I can't believe this. Of course, what do you mean? Why would they call him on the basis that he must have something incredible to say if they wouldn't know until they fucking spoke to him? These people are this is so shit.
We're going to check out William Rodriguez.
I'm going to go I'm going to check him out. Mr. Rodriguez, I'll go over to Mexico, look him up in the phone book. Billy Rodriguez.
Now get me somebody else.
Now get me some other mentally fucking deranged and money-hungry fucking spanner who's willing to say literally anything just to get a pension.
Okay, we are going to look at Stephen Jones.
We are going to look at Stephen Jones.
He's a former physics professor.
He's a former physics professor.
From Brigham Young University.
From Brigham Young University.
Now, he analysed dust samples from September 11th and says that he found explosive residue in it.
And no, he didn't. Right? Stephen Jones was a professor, a physicist at Brigham Young University, and in 2005, out of the blue, he decided to write a paper called What exactly did bring down Building 7? And the reason it was a problem is because he uploaded it onto the Brigham University website, which they do not allow you to do. They only ever allow you to print papers that have been published, peer-reviewed, and are actually representative, and that the university want to be seen to be supporting. So they put him on paid leave, basically, and they were going to review what he wrote. And then, but they were in so much shit. They got in so much shit over it. After 6 weeks, they thought, "Fuck it," they couldn't be bothered. So he resigned. Right? And then he went on to do to write several other bits and pieces as well. But yes, none of it is like. The idea, he lost his job because he violated the university's very strict. And if you're a university and you're a physicist, right? You don't want to be seen to be supporting it. So he, that them's the breaks, I'm afraid. And he didn't find traces of explosives. He found 3 different types of spherical powder. Very small. So he found 3 different chemicals, 3 different strains of spherical powder, and these three chemicals, these 3 spherical powders, happen to be found in a very incendiary material called thermite, which is going to be rechristened super thermite, which sounds like a wrestling tag team. But the problem is this: the chemicals he found were in incredibly small traces and amounts. These chemicals were not found until 9 days after the buildings had collapsed, amongst the rubble. They were then picked up by this woman who took them back to her place. Her husband is an artist who works with metal and was constantly welding around the fucker. And then they gave him this sample and he found these 3 chemicals in it. These 3 chemicals are found in thermite. Do you know what else those 3 chemicals are found in? Paint and drywall. And I've got a funny feeling there was quite a bit of both of those in the Twin Towers. So when it collapsed, you're almost certainly going to find traces of those chemicals. It's kind of like someone going through a human body and finding traces of iron and then assuming that you must be a Terminator, looking for Donna Connor.
Really?
Really?
As soon as he published his findings, he was forced to leave his post.
No, it wasn't as soon as he published his findings. It was at least nearly 2 months afterwards. You lying fucking bitch, you. You were a disgrace to this country.
At Brigham Young.
No kidding.
No.
Brigham Young. Yeah. Brigham Young sounds like R. Kelly's university.
So he's effectively fired.
No, he wasn't effectively fired. He resigned. That's not being effectively fired. That's resigning. There's a major difference there. That's like saying somebody who shoots themselves in the head was murdered by someone else.
Alex, get on a plane, get up to Salt.
Alex, get your stupid, eyebrow-looking, handsome, chiseled jaw ass on a plane. Get the fuck out of my sight.
Lake City, interview
You go to Salt Lake City because it's a piece of shit.
Professor Jones, find out anything
So Salt Lake City. Oh yeah, because this guy's also a Mormon, I think, as well.
you can about this. Yeah.
You go to Utah, go to Salt Lake City. But I don't know, how does he know he's at Salt Lake City? They never said he was. How does Jesse know these things? It's almost like he's got inside information. Couldn't you have just given the geezer a call? Couldn't you have phoned him or, I don't know, sent him an email rather than just immediately put that suave motherfucker on the plane?
Utah. Investigator Alex Piper.
Utah. No, do you now?
meets Professor Stephen Jones.
Stephen Jones.
A
Tom's brother, and
physicist whose conclusions about 9/11 proved to be...
They were not conclusions. They were. That was to say that he sent off. There was one of the most embarrassing things this guy did. After he was fired, he made a big deal about the fact that he had sent two papers off to these to be peer reviewed by these two publications. And here's what happened. They didn't publish them, and these papers were so bad. They had no references, no footnotes, no evidence, no sources cited, nothing. Not a single, no equations, no sums, no math, nothing. Not a bloody thing. It was just him talking shit. Right? And they decided that they were so bad that they actually publicly announced they would not be publishing them. And then he gave them a couple of $1,000 and then they published them.
Highly explosive.
Highly explosive, you fucking cunt. You are not Chris Hadson, right?
I just within a couple of days had angry emails, and particularly...
These people, why do these people feel the need to keep banging on about the fact we had angry emails? Yes, of course you did. You were accusing people who had done nothing wrong of being part of a conspiracy that led to the deaths of 3,000 people.
From an engineer.
From an engineer. Well, what the fuck would he know, eh? About buildings.
Identified himself as a consultant with Homeland Security.
Yeah, a fucking consultant with Homeland Security. You know what that means? Jew.
Saying that if I publish this, the pain would be great.
The pain would be great. Yeah, do you know what he probably meant? The cringe. Yeah. Were you in any pain? Right, no, you weren't, was it? Nothing. Nothing happened, did it? Right, so why am I supposed to be impressed? Right? Stop. These people are just desperate to be fucking... We talk about these days about professional victims. People talk about all these activist types who want to be... You want professional victims right here. These people are desperate to have people angry at them. Just because they're asking questions.
Professor Jones says...
Dr. Jones, calling Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, get up now.
It shows the Twin Towers were brought down by explosive.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't show that at all. He found traces of 3 chemicals that happen to be in a certain explosive, but they're also found in literally everything fucking else on planet Earth, you twat.
The first clue was what happened to another building in the Trade Center complex.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7.
Building number 7. Hi, please inform me. What happened to building number 7? I have no idea. Here's an interesting fact about 9/11. World Trade Centers 1 and 2 collapsed. They landed on building 7. Later that day, building 7 collapsed. Do you know what else happened that day? Building number 3 collapsed. Building number 4 collapsed. And building number 5 collapsed. And yet, for some reason, there is no conspiracy. There is not a single conspiracy regarding buildings 3, 4, and 5. Why? Also, the hotel that was right next to the Trade Center, that was sliced in half by the debris. Right? But only building 7, for some reason, is... Do you know why? Because it was on film. They caught it on film. Right? The other ones weren't on film, so they didn't include them. But there's no reason why. Why was building 6 the only one left standing? What was in there?
Was never hit by a plane.
No, it wasn't. It was just hit by literally the entire fucking building next to it.
But it collapsed the same way as the ones that were.
Right, here's a question. How can you knock down 10 bowling pins with 1 bowling ball? See, that's what you're saying here. It wasn't hit by a plane. No, it was hit by the biggest fucking building on planet Earth ever, landing on it.
The official story for building 7 claim is it was due to fire. Well,
yeah, no, it was due to fire. It was due to lots of things. It was actually on fire for about 8 hours. That, and the fact that it had the fucking biggest building in the world fall on it, which removed about 25% of the base. And building 7 was built very strangely. It was actually like on little legs. So when these 25% of the base was scooped out, and also there were these huge propane tanks at the bottom of building 7, which kind of helped fucking set it on fire, you know. And it was burning quite badly for 8 hours. right? And they knew it was going to collapse. They announced it. That's why the Chief Daniel Neuro actually fucking announced, which is a great name, by the way. I bet they have so much fun with that geezer's name. Chief Daniel Neuro, he told them that the building was going to collapse. That's why they got the fire brigade out, right? Which is when they got the fire brigade out of the building. This is why the BBC announced that Building 7 had collapsed half an hour before it did. And when they made the announcement on television, Building 7 was still behind them, right? Because they were trying to get there first. They'd been told it was definitely going to collapse. It's definitely going to fall over. There you go.
It just didn't add up.
It just didn't add up.
I mean, in terms of the speed and the completeness of...
No, yes, the speed and the completeness of it. Do you know there was a building next to it that was so badly damaged by Building 7 falling into its own footprint that it caused $1 billion worth of damage? Please explain that.
The collapse. Explosives, on the other hand, explain it handily.
The explosives do explain it, apart from the fact that there was literally no explosions. So now we've got a case of an explosion, an explosive bringing down a building, even though an explosive that doesn't make any noise. We've got an explosion. We've got an explosive underneath the ground, right? That somehow made a tower collapse from the top down, and now we've got a building that collapsed 8 hours late in the day after everything else had. They knew it was going to collapse. They announced it was going to collapse. It wasn't going to make it, and it fell down.
But explosives mean someone had access to this building.
Yes, well, someone did have access to the building. I'm pretty sure someone did. Probably lots of people had access to the building. It would be kind of weird if nobody had access to the building, wouldn't it? You know? Yeah, of course they had access to it. What do you mean? When did they put these? Here's the thing about the controlled demolition argument with the Twin Towers. The biggest building. I worked this out one night. Right, if you were to bring down the Twin Towers in a controlled demolition traditional way, right, the largest building that has officially ever been brought down in a controlled demolition is the Hudson building in Chicago. I sat down and roughly worked out, right, how much shit stuff would you need, you know, for the to set up the to set the explosions up. Do you know how much cable you need to get the to rig up both the Twin Towers for a controlled demolition? 750,000 metres. Now, I don't know about you, I think someone might have seen that being dropped off. Call me old-fashioned, right? But someone would... How do you sneak 750,000 metres of fucking yellow cable into a fucking building and rig it to explode? And when they do these controlled demolitions, they gut the buildings. It takes fucking ages.
We're not talking now about Al-Qaeda. This is a highly secure building. So I did some...
Oh, this is the highly secure... yeah, Al-Qaeda were not in the building. Well, they were in fucking the... Listen, Al-Qaeda had 19 people who managed to get into the other two buildings. Right? Not in the traditional way, but, you know...
Checking on Building 7.
Look at that smug grin on his fucking face. This ain't funny.
7 World Trade Center was a 47-story office building.
47, right, 47. That's 4 plus 7 is 11. 11, that's the... Oh my God, that was the date. Right. Numbers.
Among its tenants, the Department of Defense, the Secret Service, and the CIA.
Yes, but who did you think was going to have an office in these buildings? Of course, so what? Do you know how many people have offices there? Who do you think's going to have fucking offices in these buildings? You know, oh look, McDonald's have got one, and fucking... Oh look, the Beano, they've got an office down there. Of course they had. Do you not... Here's the thing. So what you're saying is, there is someone... So if they destroyed Building 7 in order to try and cover up something, to try and cover something up because there was something in there that they wanted destroyed, then that must mean that there are people they didn't want to find out about this, which means there's someone... Which means the conspiracy has got something... There's someone... There's two conspiracies here, because what would they be scared of? And here's an idea. Did you ever think maybe rather than just trying to blow the building up and destroy it, do you ever think of getting like a paper shredder, or maybe just putting it in a bin? Whatever the friggin' hell it was.
Not the easiest place to plant a bomb.
It kind of is actually an easy place to plant a bomb. It's it's a big building. It's pretty much anywhere is an easy place to plant a bomb. You've just got to put it on the floor.
You're not going to have Al-Qaeda running in there planting explosives to bring that down in that way.
Al-Qaeda ran into Building 7 to plant explosives.
When we start looking at the dust, we've all seen that dust produced as the towers.
Yes, funnily enough, there was a lot of dust. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of shit going around. Of course, there was dust. What do you expect to see? A clear horizon? Do you think the buildings were just going to go ring, 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 like a fucking Meccano set?
Came down. Building 7 also produced this enormous dust cloud.
Yes, it was also produced a dust cloud. Who'd have thought it?
It was in that dust that Professor Jones made the very startling discovery.
Lots of little tiny nano-Jews.
There's residue.
There's residue in there. I found dandruff. Lots of dandruff. Just disgusting.
Of explosive.
I found shaken vac.
In
Coffee mate. It was everywhere.
this World Trade Center dust.
The presence of explosive residue was...
It wasn't residue.
Never mentioned in the official report.
It wasn't mentioned in the official report because it wasn't explosive residue.
So do you believe...
They might as well have put, we found Kenny Everett down there playing golf with Keith Chegwin. It wouldn't have been,
That there was controlled demolition used not only in World Trade Center 7, but also in buildings 1 and 2 as well?
It's a controlled demolition that made no fucking noise.
Well, yes. Yes, I do. We do have good evidence for...
No, you have no evidence.
The use of explosives.
No, you don't.
They were hit by planes.
No, you won't. They hit by planes. Did they just do the planes for a laugh? Why would you... Here's the thing. If you're going to bring them down with explosives, why not just blow them up? Why have the planes? Why have the planes at all? Because it's not like the Twin Towers had been attacked before in '93 with when people had put loads of bombs in vans and parked them at the bottom. Why wouldn't you just blow it up? It seems to me that this is just unnecessarily elaborate and there's too much that could go wrong, right?
Challenging that. But I'm saying that's not the full story.
No, it's not the full story, right? But guess what? The mole had been working very hard all morning,
Because there's residues of explosives.
No, there isn't. Look at his little face. God, I hate it. He's got this constant smirk on his face.
It's in the dust.
Professor Jones claims the residue is a substance called...
I found cornflakes. Just loads of cornflakes everywhere.
Superthermite.
Superthermite, yes. Superthermite. Doesn't exist.
A combination of powder...
And it's not an explosive. Superthermite is not an explosive. It's an incendiary powder, but it's not an explosive.
Iron oxide and aluminum.
And aluminum.
When ignited, it burns at 2,500 degrees Celsius.
Yes, and of course of course, where was all this thermite? Right, we didn't see. Would you not have seen the thermite igniting? Did it go all the way down the building? No, again, the building collapsed at the point where the fucking planes hit it.
Much hotter than jet fuel.
Here we go. You knew it was coming. Jet fuel cannot, and such and such.
It's a liquid when it's wet.
It's a liquid when it's wet. Wow. Do you know what? I was doubting your scientific credentials, but now you've made that clear. I would never have worked that out. Did you know this? Did you know that when something's a liquid, it's wet? What next, Professor? And then, but even when he found it, it was a powder and it was dry. I mean, Jesus fucking wept.
And it can actually be painted on.
It can be painted on. Of course, they painted explosives. Or they just got in some Polish geezers and they just painted the fucking thermite all over. Cyan or sea blue.
I mean, these guys might actually have thought they were just painting.
Can you imagine being the decorators at the Twin Towers on that day, listening to that, thinking, guys, we were painting, we were there. Are we responsible for this? Fantastic! Let's go make a fortune.
When you're painting with it, it's safe.
When you're painting with it, it's safe. I very much doubt that it is.
It's really quite remarkable.
It's quite remarkable stuff. I love to drink it.
Stuff. When it dries,
do you know when it dries, it's dry. It's a liquid when it's wet, but when it's dry, it's dry.
It's a high explosive.
It's a high explosive, very high.
The professor has offered one very frightening scenario.
Yes, and this scenario involves Gary Wilmot and a badger having sex.
But is it a plausible explanation
I don't think it is. You know.
that supports William Rodriguez, who heard the explosions
Thermite does not make an explosion. And what... So Rodriguez heard a bomb going off underground. This guy's claiming that they were painting explosives on the walls. So somehow they painted the walls in the Twin Towers and that caused a bomb to go off underground. And this guy is a fucking physicist. Fucking... Not anymore. Professor of fuck all with this guy. Professor of my dick.
down below. Coming out, the super thermite
The super thermite.
theory is put to the test.
We put it to the test in a totally accurate scientific recreation by getting some iron girder that we nicked from a building site and some twat in a fucking hazmat suit. Oh, look at that. I mean, that's an explosive, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't notice a building fucking, blowing away like that, would you? No. You'd never spot that.
Then, Jesse Ventura heads to Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. Jesse Ventura literally is heading to rock bottom.
In search of
Zero
that
viewers.
explosive residue.
We're an explosive
The
residue.
main focus going on that day was to get rid of every shred of evidence.
What absolute bollocks. The shred of evidence would be the entire buildings. They wanted to get rid of... Yes, guys, quick, get the fucking Hoover. Quick, come on. Where's those brooms? Get that dustbuster out. Fucking anything. Hide all this shit. Quick, sweep it under the rug. Chuck it in the river. No one will see. You fucking chimpanzee raping twat.
And later, he finds new evidence of a 9/11 cover-up.
Oh, brilliant. Look at that. It's a tape recorder from literally 1904.
You saw the black boxes at some point they had...
Well, then, they saw the black boxes at some point. He saw them, yes. Wow, he saw the black boxes, right, at some point, right, and then they weren't there. It's almost as if they were moved.
Found one.
You found one? No, they found 4.
That I know of.
They found 4.
That I actually physically saw.
That you physically saw, that you stood there looking at it, picking it up, right, with balanced on your erection. Literally, the contents of the black boxes is online. Look, they can't even spell it back. It's written backwards.
Jesse Ventura is investigating the 9/11 conspiracy.
And he's doing a, quite frankly, bang-up job.
And a claim that the World Trade Towers were brought down by an explosive substance called super thermite.
That was painted on by fucking decorators who they hired from just a random firm and who are now implicit and guilty of mass murder, right? When are we going to get to the fucking... When are we going to get to this bomb that they somehow buried? Who did that? Were the Wombles in charge?
Sure, they were hit by planes.
It was hit by planes. Sure, they were hit by planes. I love that he felt the need to clarify that. Right. Yeah. They were hit by planes. Yeah. This guy, by the way, has since he's one of the founders of the what's it called, Scholars for 9/11 Truth, and he has I think it might have been prior to this. He had written various articles that had paid credence to the no plane theory, which, if you've watched my videos in the past, you will be familiar with the no plane theory. It is literally what it does what it says on the tin.
Saying that's not the full story.
It's not the full story.
Because there's residues of explosives.
Because there's like dust everywhere. I mean,
There's in the dust.
yes, there is residue. It's called a plane. Because obviously, if they hadn't put the super thermite there, none of the building would have caught fire. There was nothing flammable in that entire office building.
People, did we find anybody who can back up Professor Jones?
Did we find one? Yes, Jesse, we found this guy called Mad Pete McGrinty. He walked up to us in the streets, no trousers on, socks, right? No trousers, overcoat, no trousers, dead cat on his head. He claims that the explosion was set off by a transmission that was beamed out into the buildings from all of the parking meters, which are controlled by the Moon Jews. Shall we get this guy in?
His findings.
Yes, we did. We contacted.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. You didn't do jack shit. Fucking. You've been sat there watching fucking porno with
the research lab at New Mexico Tech, and they've agreed to conduct an
Oh, at New Mexico Tech. Brilliant.
experiment using super.
Yeah, New Mexico Tech. Of course, New Mexico. Mexico were right on this shit, weren't they?
Thermite.
Right.
They're going, oh my god, we have got to get on this fucking. This we can imagine. We're going to troll the fuck out of these people.
This is Van Romero. He's one of their top researchers, and he's going to do the test.
Raheem, of course, they've got a black geezer in a fucking green army coat called Raheem. You're so fucking PC, it's ridiculous. Oh yeah, I've got this thing here. Let me just get the remote control from the television set and just.
Hello, Governor. My name is Van Romero, and
Hi, Governor. My name's there, and I have a question. This is like a fucking really weird version of Cameo.
I understand you have some questions about super.
I understand that you are, mentally retarded and possibly a little bit mad. Anyway, so you have some questions for me, and as I like a bit of a giggle, I thought.
Thermite. Well, let's do an experiment. The first step in the experiment is to make.
Was Owen Hart brought down by thermite paint? Did the Ultimate Warrior's face painted with super thermite?
The liquid super thermite.
Liquid super thermite, which is wet. As we know, you've got notes. Remember that, it's wet. There'll be a questionnaire later.
Mix it in with the paint.
I just wanted to say, we're only 12.5 minutes into this.
And then we have our super thermite.
What we do is here, Governor, we've got some of this shite that you fucking super thermite. We've just basically gone around emptying the coffee jar. Now we're going to put in some of Manuel's piss. We've all been pissing in this, and now we're going to stir it around a bit using this. Using this fucking bone from a chicken. And now what we're going to do, we're going to pour this all over this beam here and set it on fire. And you're gonna buy this crap. You're gonna totally buy into it because you're a fucking nutter.
Liquid paint. Once we make the mixture.
Liquid paint, as opposed to all those other forms of paint that are not liquids.
The lab, we take it out into the field to do the test.
We take it out into the field. Yeah, I would do that. I would probably set fire to the steel girder that's covered in fucking explosives outside. I might even suggest that you wear some kind of protective clothing. I don't want to be all health and safety.
Before we apply super thermite to a beam.
Before we apply this shit that doesn't actually exist and isn't real and was never there to this beam that we found, look at that. They've got fucking masking tape. It's not even duct tape. It's fucking masking tape. It's the shit you put on fucking. It's that paper shit. Then look at it. Look at that fucking thing. It looks like something I made.
Let's take a beam without super.
They've got it on sandbags, for fuck's sake.
Put thermite on it and subject it to a fire.
Let's subject it to a fire. Let's just burn shit, because this is all science really is. Let's be honest. Science is just burning things. And occasionally something interesting happens.
3, 2,
1, go! Woo!
1, fire.
Well, oh fucking hell, Jesus Christ, dear, whoa! Oh my God, how did they survive the shockwave of that? My bloody hell! No wonder, of course, that would bring down every building in the fucking within 100 miles. That was like watching that explosion that happened in Beirut last year. To the power of I can't believe anyone survived. Right? How is this even legal? Jesus Christ, the poor bastard. All their bones must have shattered. Did you see that? The devastation there. Christ Almighty, it's like a fucking bunch of. That's like a bunch of mosquitoes lighting their own farts, for God's sake. Look at it.
As you can see,
it's like a sparkler.
Fire burns.
As you can see, what happens here, Jesse, this is very scientific. As you can see, the fire, well, it burns. And it's burning, and it's burning there, and it's now not burning. It's like, because it's not on fire anymore. It's on fire and it goes out. This is what we call this is what scientists refer to as burning.
And the beam slowly heats up.
And the beam slowly heats up from the fire, because I don't know if you know this, but fire actually produces heat. Yeah.
The beam burns briefly.
It burns briefly.
But it does not melt.
But it did not melt. What a fucking shock. What were you expecting? You literally expecting this fucking iron girder that holds up skyscrapers with thousands of people in them. It's just gonna dissolve like a fucking Toblerone in the sun.
Now let's paint the super thermite.
Now we've put the super thermite on, which is literally just what we had there, mixed with curry powder and dynamite. So here we go.
Onto the metal beam, subject it to a fire.
Subject it to a fire, which, as you remember the fire? Yeah. It burns, yeah.
See what happens. Fire!
Well, look at that.
As we expected, the beam of the thermite is burning much brighter.
It's burning much brighter. Well, because what we've learnt here, Jesse, is if you take an explosive material and then you make it more explosive, i.e., you increase the amount of explosive materials in it, what happens is the explosion is bigger. Right? This is a groundbreaking thing, and I definitely think we have got the Nobel Prize sewn up, motherfucker. Right? We have got this one. We'll be dining out. We will be eating caviar out of fucking Playboy bunnies' arseholes just because of this one, right? We are set for life. Did you know you use explosives and then you add more explosives, the explosions get bigger? That is fucking maths, bro.
It's a much hotter fire than we had
It's a
before.
much hotter fire because
so
it's
the temperature
bigger.
is going to rise.
And the temperature is bigger. The temperature is going to rise because it's hotter. Or is it hotter because the temperature is rising? I think it's the second one, but what do I know? I'm not a scientist.
In this beam more than it would in the beam.
Because that's what we all saw, wasn't it, on 9/11? That's what we saw. Every single fucking steel girder on 9/11 was on fire like that, wasn't it? They all were like that. No, they weren't they?
Without the thermite. Does it
Without the termites.
burn long enough and hot enough so that we have structural failure?
Does it burn long enough and hot enough so we have structural failure? Yeah. Is it long and hot? Is it long and hot? Is it making you feel weak? Are you getting weak inside of the wet thermite? And I mean, I could have made a better thing. You know, this is so. All right. Well, I think that wraps that one up. Right. We'll see you next time on Scooby Doo. Look at these. Look at that look on his face. Did you see that? That is a man who knows he is making an absolute fucking cunt of himself. That is a man who had nothing to say because, wow, did you see that, guys? Did you see, like, the sparkler? Did you see the shit indoor fireworks show we just got?
Anybody still got any doubts?
Anybody got any doubts that, no, Jesse, we are all convinced you need to go, you need to get yourself checked into a ward, mate. You need something. Or, you know, quite frankly, what I need is a new career and a better agent.
Alex?
I do.
Alex, does anyone need anything? I know they all want to kill themselves. They're all silent. They realise this is the end of their lives.
I mean, listen, it's one thing to say that this thing can be liquefied and used as paint.
Did you see a girder get liquefied there? Because I didn't. I saw a little fire, a little sparkler show happen on top of a girder, and then it went out.
It's another thing to say that it was used at the World Trade Center site.
Yes, it is, Alex. Well done. This guy is fucking sharp, I tell you what. I'm glad they got him to play the skeptic because, Jesus Christ, I mean, it's almost like Carl Sagan is there in the room.
Regis told me construction was a daily thing there.
Construction was a daily thing there. Right, okay. And? Construction was a daily thing. Excuse me, mate. Well, why are you rigging up these explosive charges to the buildings? And what is this paint you've got here? I don't recognise this brown colour. God, this look. Don't smoke, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But every floor when a tenant...
Have you seen how shit fucking these, painters and decorators are? There'd have been one there with a roll-up that had gone in there and the whole fucking place would have gone up. Of course, the builders. It's not just the firemen and the politicians and all the people who own the building. No, it's also, Jesse, the fucking builders.
Moved out, construction took place.
It is literally Bob the fucking builder.
What happens then? Painting.
Painting, that's all that happened. Fucking World Trade Center. You went in there, you couldn't move for people. Painting the frigging place. It was ridiculously fucking... just non-stop. It was like the fucking fourth bridge.
Painters could be painting this stuff on and not even know it.
Yes, of course. How could they not know? Who turns up for it? What painter and decorator turns up to a job at the World Trade Center and they say, don't bring any paint. We've got our own special paint. This one here. What sort of paint's this? Don't ask. Just fucking put it on the wall. Smells quite... Oh, it smells quite sort of pungent. Just put it on the fucking wall, and for God's sake, you know, for God's sake, don't light a match, you know.
Imagine if...
I mean, what did they just say? They just claimed that they painted the entire building with an explosive paint over the course of many years, presumably, using the local painters and decorators.
This stuff was painted on buildings and...
This stuff was painted on buildings, and fucking, can we paint it on you? God almighty, does it melt? Can we melt Jesse Ventura?
New York, Boston...
This could be... this stuff could be on all the walls of every building. It could be anywhere. It could even be in my house. Yeah. But don't worry. You don't have to... You can sleep safe at night, because every single thing that I have said is total bullshit.
Washington, D.C., all over the country.
It could be D.C., it could be in California, could be in Seattle, Birmingham, Alabama, Boise, Idaho, Austin, could be in Mississippi, it could be in North Dakota and or South Dakota. It could be... Jesse, for fuck's sake.
That stuff could be everywhere.
That stuff could be... That was fucking amazing. This stuff could be everywhere. There, yes, Jesse, they have been painting the world when we weren't looking. When you're not looking at night, all of those... Every time you see them, they've been putting paint on their cars. This stuff could be everywhere. Why? Why would they put it everywhere? Why would they want to? They want the world to melt, do they? Doesn't seem like a really reasonable plan. Well, that's because the Pentagon was hit by a missile, mate. A missile that literally nobody saw. Right? There were loads of people who saw a plane, but nobody saw a missile.
After seeing that,
image in my head. After seeing what, Jesse? You've seen nothing. You've created this bonkers... You've created a scenario that it would only make sense or would only seem reasonable if I was reading it on the side of a padded cell wall in human shit, right? This is ridiculous.
There was only one place to go next.
There was only one place to go next. Home, on my own. To masturbate. Because my wife left me, and I'm so sad.
I headed to Ground Zero.
I headed to Ground Zero, a place where literally thousands of people also go to. But I'm Jesse Ventura, and I'm fat. And while we were there, I was undercover, and I did a good job because nobody recognized me.
I didn't expect to find any super thermite.
Yeah, but I didn't find any super. But I did find... What did you find? You found nothing.
But I also didn't expect to find so many victims, survivors.
What? Still there, right? It's been 12 years. Right? Did no one pick them up? Is there some geezer still trapped under the rubble going, oi, 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 would someone, anyone?
Still looking for answers.
Still looking. Well, you're not going to find them there, are you? What are you looking for answers? What, do you think there's going to be a little box? Do you think there's going to be a box when you open up and there's a little bit of paper and says, it was the Jews? No, you fucking utter cretin.
My name is Manny DeVito.
My name is Danny DeVito, did you just say? Yeah, well, my name's Danny DeVito, yeah, I live around here. Do you really, Danny? Well, I'm shocked to hear that. Right. Are you and the Fadoozle brothers and the mozzarella, posse hanging out, are you, there? Fucking hell, it's a discount Andrew Dice Clay.
I lost my uncle.
I lost my uncle, not in 9/11, just this morning, but, I was hoping I'd bump into him, but I found you, he's I thought you were my uncle, because he looks like a fucking idiot too.
9/11, Thomas Joseph Squad. I really appreciate what you're doing right now.
I appreciate what you're doing right now, I really do, it's fucking great, I just want to, and by the way, I thought you were great against Billy Graham.
Now, because we need as many people as possible.
We need as many people as possible, which is a shame because after this show, literally nobody wanted to be involved or connected to this fucking idea whatsoever.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Now, I don't know who said that, what it means, or what the fuck it's got to do with anything we're talking about, but it's definitely true.
No, you said that.
You said that. Yes, Jesse Ventura. Yes, we all remember that great quote, don't we? Who was it who said knowledge is power? Was it Jesse Ventura? Of course it was Jesse Ventura. Who else would drop such a golden ingot of wisdom like that, other than the one and only Jesse Ventura?
And what it comes down to is people need to know what happened.
People need to know what happened, and this is why we need you, Jesse Ventura.
What really?
The man who said knowledge is power. Which is ironic, because clearly, if knowledge is power, you are a fucking shantytown, my friend.
Upset me about this so-called investigation. My son's murder. All these family members, they're murdered. Right.
Yes, we know that, mate. And he is not going to help you.
And people had said within that commission, we're not here to place blame. Now, just...
What do you mean they're not here to place blame? Yes, no, they weren't there to place blame. It wasn't their job. The 9/11 Commission report was not about investigating who done it. It was about investigating what happened. Like the same way the NIST report was about how the buildings collapsed. That's, these are things. Yes, of course they know who done it, mate. They knew that before. George Bush. Here's the thing about the 9/11 Commission. You got to remember, George Bush didn't want to have it because he just wanted to go. We know who done it. It was Bin Laden. We're going in to the wrong country, but we're going in. What was that? Most of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of that country.
Think of yourself as a parent losing a son, and the police commissioner says we're not.
Listen, his son is Tyrell Ventura. He's dreamt of losing that son.
Here to place blame.
When they said that,
You want to talk about parents who want to lose their children? Talk to my dad.
my response was, well, then what are you for?
Well, what are you for? Hey, come on, Cleves. Hey, what's all that about? Hey, come on.
We can talk about these buildings. Tower 7 falling down.
Yes, no, we can't talk about Tower 7 falling down.
Yeah,
no one was in Tower 7, motherfucker. Why would you talk about it? Right, they didn't talk about Tower 7 falling down because it wasn't fucking targeted.
People don't even know if Tower 7 came down.
They do, at this point they do. They did. It had been, NIST had done a report. They spent 4 years on the motherfucker.
I know.
They do. No, they actually did stuff. That's how it works. They didn't walk around with a stupid little fucking beanie hat on, right? Looking like a giant fucking hippopotamus in a leather jacket, right? Exploiting the fucking poor sympathetic bastards who are still grieving their relatives. You utter cunt.
They're lying to us.
Yeah. So I walked home at 3 a.m. absolutely drunk, complete pissed out of my goddamn brains. I fell asleep under a bridge. When I woke up, a homeless man had his balls in my mouth. And then I got to work.
He makes his way closer to the scene of the crime.
Jesse, it's dark. How far away is Ground Zero? Like, it's pitch black. Where were those people? Where's he starting off? Is he fucking... Where was he? Was he in fucking Florida?
He's hoping to get into the Ground Zero site.
Well, is he? Now, well, that must be... Well, because obviously he's going to find something. He's going to stumble... Oh, what's this here? Oh, look. It's a piece of paper that says... It says side job. And another bit that says 9/11 was in. We're going to take these back to the lab and see if we can crack this code.
Maybe find some remnants of the original steel that he can bring back.
Yes, of course, because that point, 12 years later, there's still remnants and fucking debris laying there. They've cleared none of it up. I'm going down to Ground Zero to nick a girder. Have a day off.
Back for testing.
You can walk in there.
Well, can we just fucking try and rationalise that? Right, this full-grown man is going to Ground Zero 12 years after 9/11 to see if he can find some steel. What's he going to do, flog it on eBay?
Did I tell you to shut this off?
Yeah. But the police guard won't let him closer than a view of the new Freedom Tower.
And that's disgraceful, because I was a governor, a fighter, a Navy SEAL. And I used to be in a commentary team with Gorilla Monsoon.
Built to withstand impacts from above and below.
And below. Yeah. Well, they're not going to build it to withstand impacts from above and not below, is it? They're not going to have it made out of fucking marshmallows. But here's the thing. Yes, people like to say the towers were built to, withstand the impact of a plane. But guess what? They were wrong. Amazing. Who'd have thought builders would fuck you over like that?
How did they build this building any different?
How did they build this building any different? Fuck me, it's literally like Walter Cronkite is alive and well, isn't it? This is literally Jeremy Paxman of fucking... How did this building get built by builders? Right, did they build it with the...
First one, so that this one don't collapse.
This one don't collapse. This one don't, this one don't reel.
If it catches on fire, which I don't fully believe.
I don't fully believe that it fell down and when it caught on fire. Right, well, why was it on fire, Jesse? Oh, yes, because a plane exploded and crashed into it, and that would probably make a bit of difference. I hate it, the fact they never fucking... They always fucking make that argument.
Street level, yeah, straight up to one.
Street level.
Maybe 7 stories high. You see the difference. All of that is.
You see that? You see that, Jesse? See that? See what they've done there? See, if you look up, see what they've done? They've made a rectangle, right? They've made what we used to call as kids an oblong. And no other building in the world has ever been built with 4 sides going straight up. It's mental, Up until now, we have all lived in hobbit homes or underground under a piece of tarpaulin, but no.
Steel and concrete encasement, which different from the original.
It was made out of obsidian that we'd mined.
All these buildings are being built with the same technology.
With the same technology? What, you mean bricks and people and metal? What do you mean technology? What, a fucking hammer?
The forced and reinforced steel and concrete structures.
Yes, but a plane going 750 miles an hour exploding might have you trumped.
Normal cement walls, maybe 12 to 18 inches. This is like 3 feet thick.
So what you're saying is, there's no way that these buildings could have possibly collapsed. But do you know what happened, mate? They fucking did.
Buildings would withstand the heat from jet fuel or super thermite.
No, they wouldn't.
But the original steel?
The original steel. George the Animal Steel.
It was long gone.
Was it? Oh, who'd have thought? You were there right away. I can't believe it. Okay, they didn't even leave one bit lying around for you, Jesse. That is so unfair. If only you knew where their son was. Oh yeah, of course. It's in Hangar 17 at that airport that we saw you at earlier. And you know it's there because it's public knowledge. Isn't it?
Most of it shipped out.
What would you do with it? What were you going to do with an iron girder? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just put it there and go, right, people, I've got the iron girder. We've got to melt this motherfucker. Get anything that sets off. Get magnesium ribbon. Get a Bunsen burner.
And recycled. This crime scene had been destroyed a long time ago.
He's fucking right and all. I know, Jesse. Well done. Yes. 12 years ago, it's at some point between 2001 and 2013, they thought, we should probably get all this shit up, wouldn't we? Yeah. Right. Anyway, back of the van. That's what they... I love how he's complaining that they cleaned it up.
The end result is this.
I am never going to be taken seriously again. I could not get elected in Tennessee, anywhere, in Frog Balls, Louisiana. Marjorie Green Taylor has been elected, and not me.
Knowingly destroyed all the evidence. Anything that why else?
What do you mean they destroyed the evidence? The evidence, the building exploded. The building collapsed, Jerry. What evidence? The evidence that you're trying to find evidence that the buildings were brought down in a controlled demolition. Well, what are you looking for? The buildings collapsed. This makes no sense whatsoever. This is like someone saying you can't, the scientific method can't be tested on the scientific method.
Give me an example of why they would change basic police investigation.
Because nothing like this had ever happened before, ever in the history of the world.
Is that people didn't want to have to look at that eyesore
all right.
and remind themselves of what happened on that day.
I'll give that to you.
I will, but I'll also give you this. And if you say anything like that to me again, I will get Hogan's leg drop on you. I'll put you in a sleeper hold.
But then why did it all have to be destroyed?
Because why would you keep the remnants of the 2 biggest skyscrapers in the world? What are you going to keep it for? That is hoarding on a massive level.
Couldn't they have removed it and taken it to another spot?
They did take some of it to another spot, Jesse. They just didn't. They probably felt like, you know what? I don't think we need all of this, you know? You could probably do without a few of these girders.
So that then it could be investigative work.
They're not going to investigate it there, are they? There were... Jesse, you understand there were people trapped under the rubble, right? Do you want the scientists to come there and go, wait, before we save all of these people who are, you know, who have got broken legs and are trapped under 48,000 tons of fucking metal and concrete, before we do that, we need to test all of this shit right now. We need to get your fucking pH papers out, lads. My God.
The main focus going on that day was to get rid of every shred of evidence, melt it down.
Melt it down? For what? What? You think they melted the Twin Towers down? And what? Sold it on? Right? Sold it as scrap? This is fucking mental. This is literally mental.
Build Navy ships out of it, ship it.
Oh my God. I didn't even know he said that. Lads, we need some ships in the Navy. As we all know, warfare at sea is on the rise. You know, it's one of the growth industries. So we need some ships, right? Well, we haven't got any fucking metal. We're completely out. Right, well, what should we do? Well, what's got a lot of steel in it? Those two skyscrapers, right? Okay. Hang on, lads. I've got an idea.
Off to China, anything they could do with the remains out there.
This man is a fucking absolute moron. And a cunt. I mean, literally insane.
Did it? It would have taken a mere 2 to 3 hours.
Hunter S. Thompson on PCP talked more sense than this fucking insane shrapnel-cutted brained twat.
Hours to check for demolition.
The visit to Lower Manhattan does pay off when Jesse Ventura meets a Ground Zero rescue worker.
And a prostitute.
Mike Balone says he witnessed a 9/11.
Mike Balone. His name's Mike Balone, really. And now he's all alone.
Cover-up. The recovery of the black box flight recorders from the attacked jetliners.
What, the one that you said they didn't find?
The 9/11 Commission report says the boxes were never found.
No. It doesn't say that.
Jesse arranges to meet with Balone.
You would know that. But unfortunately, the reason you don't is because you haven't read it.
Away from the...
And I wouldn't read it if I were you. Because if you did, you'd realise everything you're saying is stupid.
The scene.
To my knowledge, they've never ever...
Jesse Ventura starting a sentence with "to my knowledge."
For not been able to find the black boxes before.
How do you know? How do you know? Have you looked this up? How could you possibly know this? Is this your hobby? Do you have a black... Is it your hobby that you look up black boxes? No, it's a joke that comedians have been telling in the 80s. Hey, if the black box is indestructible, why don't they make the plane out of it? Because black boxes aren't indestructible, right? They're not made out of dark matter, you fucking idiot. And and even as strong as they are, they're probably unlikely to survive being blown up in an airplane and then crushed underneath the weight of the biggest building in the world.
Or they're supposedly pretty much indestructible.
No, they're not indestructible, Jesse. Of course they're not. Do you know how we know that? Right, because if they were indestructible, they wouldn't be destructed in the first place.
No,
nothing's indestructible. The only thing that is indestructible is your fucking head. Right? Knowledge cannot penetrate that fucking 6-inch thick skull of yours.
They went through the debris.
Yes, of course. All they had to do, come on, lads, hurry up and find the black boxes. God, it's been 20 minutes. Come on, it must be somewhere around here, amongst literally all of the more material than everything else we've ever seen in our lives ever. Do you know some of that rubble, Jesse? It was 12 stories high.
To the point where
12 stories.
They could find small bone fragments.
Oh my God, they found small bone. Because as we know, when you're looking amongst a load of rubble, as we know, you find all the big things first and then get smaller. We know this to be true, don't we?
DNA test it and match it up to victims.
Oh God, well, pardon them, Jesse, for fucking thinking maybe we should figure out whose bone is this. Hey lads, I've found a femur. Do you think we should possibly test this? I think this might have belonged to someone. You know, what with it being a human leg bone? Maybe if we find out whose this is, we'll know whether or not we could find the other bit of the leg that goes with it. You know, it's great. It's like we're playing a game here.
How could they miss these big yellow striped boxes?
I know. How could they miss them? It's like finding a haystack in a needle. I love that. I just love the assumption. Oh my God.
That everyone and their uncle would be looking for.
Maybe they were looking for fucking survivors, Jesse. Some poor bastard's been trapped down there for 18 hours, starving to death. He's literally broke. His pelvis is in 95. It's been pulverised to dust. Right? His fucking pacemaker's going doolally. Right? He's been down there for fucking 2 weeks and you're going to get us out, mate. Mate, I'm looking for the black box, mate. It's important we know what happened here.
Jesse and his team arrive at my...
Sort that fucking ponytail out, you absolute cunt. You look like a fuck... You should be on one of the waltzers at a fair.
Ballone's home in upstate New York.
Look here, in the caravan.
He was a volunteer at Ground Zero.
He was a volunteer at Ground Zero. Do you know what that means? No one. Nothing. Not at all.
He did recovery and rescue work for 257 straight days.
Wow. He worked for nearly, 2/3 of a year. Wow. How was he alive at the end? Yeah, it's like going to a Korean prison camp. You know, I can't imagine how he survived this. Why has the film and the book not been made?
On one of those days...
What am I on? I'm on fucking... I'm frustration from this shite.
He says he witnessed something he wasn't supposed to see.
Yes, he saw one of the foremen getting blown by the other guy's wife.
From the very day that 9/11...
If he saw something he wasn't supposed to see, it was probably a fucking salad.
...happened, you were there every day.
You were there every day. Every day, right? No one else was there every day, but you were there every day.
Right. And you were there...
You were there with a beard, right? Now, you've got a beard and glasses. Now, I think we know what that means. Day after day. It was 257 days. So day after day after day after day. What was it there? 6 hours, was it? With a break. Oh, with a 2-hour break, right? What an absolute...
You saw the black box?
You saw the black box. No, I went to see the band Black Box. Right?
At some point, was it nighttime?
Was it nighttime? Yes, because the best time to find the black box is at fucking night, when everything becomes much more visible.
That happened?
Yes.
Yes. Notice he wasn't sure. You're hell worked up over it. Rag, are you new here? Do you have someone who looks after you? Have you never seen this before? This is what I do. It's supposed to be fun. Just enjoy it, or don't make me fucking. I'll rinse you out too.
It was nighttime, so
it was nighttime. So it was nighttime. So what that means is the sun was on the other side of the planet. Like if you want to believe what the government tells you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so it was at night, and you saw the black box. Well, I saw a thing that looked like a box. Right, it did have a homeless man in it. Right, okay. So did it have the record? I don't know, Jesse. I have no idea what the fucking hell's going on. I applied to this through fucking Star Now, and now I'm starting to regret this.
How many days in? Do you have any idea?
How many days in? God, who could possibly know? I mean, what kind of loser counts how many days they've been working voluntarily at a bomb site?
I would say end of September to the beginning of October. So
end of September to the beginning of October. Wow, covering at least 2 days.
So
literally over the space of 2 months, possibly even a year.
3 to 4 weeks after the collapse, the particular night you're there working, and take us through what happened then.
What happened? Well, I'd finished masturbating for the 3rd time that day.
The night of the black boxes.
The night of the black boxes. Yes, we all remember the night of the black boxes, don't we?
Nick, who was the...
Nick, oh, not Nick. Fucking Nick, eh? It's always Nick. Nick.
The other ATV man. The FBI was loading all
the FBI were there, you know, I saw the FBI with JFK, Shergar, and Marilyn Monroe. They were all there. Martin Luther King, and in the moon buggy driving around.
Telesponder.
There with driven by some 7-foot reptile with a little yarmulke on.
And all their fancy equipment.
Man, I'm so glad this guy found the black box, because he is fucking clearly some kind of electrician.
To the back of his rig.
They were getting all their shit and putting it in the back of their fucking van and shit, and they saw this motherfucking thing on the fucking floor, and I thought, yo, what the fuck is this fucking shit? And I'm like, damn, bitch. And I'm like, can I eat this fucking thing? No, well, fuck you.
And these are the things that were
These are the things. So you saw a thing on the floor, and you picked the thing up, right? And the thing.
Pick the black box.
Can you guys please stop it with all the fucking academic language?
Yes.
I'm not a fucking. Listen, I'm just a layman. I don't understand all this. A thing. Belle Gibson put more effort into this. She at least created some fucking stupid thing. She didn't say a thing. She went on about this box that had pads that stuck up your ass, but no, you're going on about a thing.
These are the type.
We found a MacGuffin. The MacGuffin was there.
The devices.
The devices. You know, the objects. You know, the physical matter. You know, the nouns. The
locators.
The locators.
Was to escort these FBI agents into the area. Right? Because we all know what they were going to do. They were going to put. There we go. George Soros, was there amongst them. So they can look.
They could look. They were there going, get out of there. They turned up, did that thing with the bang in your eye. I forgot everything. I woke up. Next thing I know, you're in front of me in my kitchen. What the fuck is going on with my life?
For the boxes. They had found one.
They found one. Right. Okay. Right. Well, that's good. So they got one. So that now means they need to find one. Yes. Okay.
That I know of.
That you know of. They found one. You know this black box personally, do you?
That I actually.
That's your black friend, isn't it? I'm not racist. I know a black box.
Physically saw it.
I physically saw it with my eyes. I was looking at it in its direction, and I saw it in my field of vision. Right, it was right there. Wasn't peripherals or nothing. Right in the fucking middle. It had black fucking box PLC written on it. And I asked them, I said, is that the black box? And they went, yes, that is the black box. And I went, right, who are you? We are the black box people. We're taking the black box away to examine it. And I went, right, and they got in the black box van, took it back to Black Box HQ, and I just sat there singing Ride on Time all night.
And when he was finished, he came back and told me that He
told me that if you tell anyone about us, we will fucking find you and rinse you out, skin you alive, and bugger you on TV. Now, do you hear us? Yeah.
They had found two more.
They found two more. Wait, they didn't find the black boxes, you said. The FBI said they didn't find the black boxes, but they found three. They found three. And it says a lot, quite frankly, about how fucking shit this geezer was at this job, considering he had been there 5 weeks and found nothing. These motherfuckers turn up in a van, literally get out, sashay onto the site, and just know where the fuck they are. They just look around and went. They found it within 2 minutes. How fuck? What was this guy doing? Was he just wandering around? That's all you were. You're one of these wankers who does volunteer work to make yourself feel important.
You actually saw one.
Did you see it though? Were your eyes open and facing in the direction of the black box? I need to know that you saw it. And tell me, was it big? Was it a big black box?
Physically saw one.
Nick told you that they found two more for a total of 3 of the 4.
Yes.
3 of the 4. 3 of the 4. So that means they've got 1 left. Right, okay, so there. Because Meatloaf sung that song, he said 3 out of 4, right?
Yes. Okay. And the FBI looked pretty happy about it.
They looked pretty happy about it, yeah. Yeah, I bet they were well pleased. I bet they were laughing, going, "Oh, brilliant! Oh, we found it! Hey, we're going home. God, I was worried we were going to be here for days. No, look at that! Just stumble on here. Look, God Almighty! It's almost like they knew where they were." And then they dragged this motherfucker into a paint. They painted him with thermite paint. Said, "We will roast you alive, motherfucker. We will paint your house. We will paint your family's house. We'll paint your pets, your car, your entire street."
And that was the list.
This guy is such a fucking amazing storyteller. It's like Peter Ustinov is reciting this to me. He's like, "So like I was there and then they walked over and they were like, and he picked up and he says, 'That the black box?' And he went, 'Yeah.' And so then they left and they were and I was like, 'Wow.' And then I mean, Jesus Christ, put some fucking effort into it.
What was your response when the 9/11 Commission that they said that no black boxes were found?
Well, then, do you know what that probably was, Jesse? I doubt he read the fucking thing. I will put money on it. I will bet anything. I will bet any amount of my body that he read not page 1 of the fucker.
Because their official position is that there were no black boxes discovered at the trade centers.
No, it wasn't. This is a lie. This is an absolute lie.
None of the 4.
No, it wasn't. Yes, and of course, that's why the FBI just picked them up in front of everyone and when that guy said, "Is that the black box?" they went, "Yeah." Because that's what you do. If you were trying to hide the black boxes and claim that you never found them, one thing you do is turn up when there's loads of people around, pick these fucking things up, and when a geezer asks you if that's what it is, you say, "Oh yeah, totally. Anyway, alright, see you later, mate. Yeah, bye."
We're getting a lot.
Do you see what I mean? Even the slightest, even the simplest of stuff.
Phone calls.
I got a lot of phone calls. I mean, mostly from PPI companies. I don't, but I talk to them because I'm.
From a lot of different people.
From a lot of different people. People call me all the time. Just people. They got mouths, they speak. I had someone call me up and they were like trying to say, do I want to sell my house? Or I'm like, no, I don't want to sell my fucking house. Like, well, you're living in the catchment area where the prices are going through the fucking roof. And I said, listen, Soros, you Jew motherfucker, I don't want to sell my house. I will find you, cut your balls off, stuff them up your fucking ass. And then they came round and it turned out it wasn't Georgia. It was Barrett. But they
had a visit from an FBI agent.
I had a visit from an FBI agent. By that I mean a full-blooded Italian.
Said I should discuss the matter.
Yeah, he said you shouldn't discuss the matter. Did he really? Right. Well, you've kept that. Well, clearly. You've kept that promise, haven't you? I bet that, and if that was true and you were genuinely scared, I bet you were feeling perfectly safe. Because obviously Jesse's just going to go over and body slam the motherfucker, isn't he?
And I asked him why.
Then I asked him what. So he said, don't talk to anyone about it. So I went, hey, Angie, get the fuck over here. So anyway, the FBI found the black boxes the other day, and they fucking told me I can't fucking tell no one. But I'm asking you, what the fuck am I supposed to do about this shit? And then Angie ran away.
Says, well, it's just, it's something that we really shouldn't discuss right now.
Yes, maybe we shouldn't discuss it because they've told you not to, and they probably bugged this fucking house. You stupid, fat, furniture-faced cunt.
We really shouldn't talk about it.
By the way, I'm fucking the gardener.
You guys know what you saw.
Yeah. I wouldn't talk to... No, you shouldn't talk about it, mate. Not because it's something that's dangerous and it's a secret. You shouldn't talk because when you talk, literally I want to die. I can feel my body slowing down. I'm passing out. It's amazing. I've never met a more boring human being in my fucking life. It is incredible. Your voice is like human rohypnol.
We know what we saw. We know what we did.
We know what we saw. We know what we did. We saw nothing and we did nothing. Fuck you.
What would cause Mike Balone to tell a lie?
I know, Mike Balone. What would cause Mike Balone? That is one of those questions where you just know, Mike Balone? What, the Mike Balone? Yes, Mike Balone, who lives in Baloneville? Yeah, Mr. Mike, Michael McMichelson of Baloneville, down in the Balone district. Yeah. In Balone Village, in Balone, USA. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, they fucking... Why would he lie? Why would this man possibly lie about anything?
I don't think he is lying, man.
I don't think he is lying. Well, I mean, if that guy said it...
I think that's exactly what happened.
Well, if that guy said it, I think that's exactly what happened. Because, I mean, if you were going to make up a fucking story like this, you would not make it that goddamn fucking boring. You would make it interesting. You would do like William Rodriguez, where you'd make shit up. But that sounded vaguely plausible.
This is why we've got to pursue this.
We've got to, yeah. That sounded like it might have been real. So we need to change tack, people. Right? Bring in the Jewish space lasers.
We have to.
We have to. We're only halfway through the show, by the way.
Still ahead. Have the black boxes really been found?
I don't know. Possibly. Maybe you're showing me pictures of them, and therefore, and also, if you read anything, you know what you're talking about, you would already know that yes, they were, and the files and all the stuff was online. So yeah. But hey, you're selling it to me so well. I'm on the edge of my fucking seat here.
I said, so how many of these boxes did they actually ever find?
Oh, for God's sake, are we still on this?
And he said, do you want the real answer or the official answer?
Right. Did he also say, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you? Did he also say, well, yeah, maybe that was his way of saying, listen, Uncle Albert, Compo, it's none of your fucking business, you nosy old prick.
Then, Jesse Ventura storms the building where the evidence is hidden.
He storms the building. No, he doesn't so much storm the building as waddle towards it slowly, like a punch-me clown. And there he is.
Get up here! This is what they don't want me to see.
The thing behind this door that I'm looking at.
And later,
he gets into an elevator and then can't find his way out.
He confronts the FBI.
He confronts the FBI by going to the building where he knows they are, and then they give him 5 minutes and they're like, oh, for God's sake, it's Ventura again. Just fucking fob him off with anything. It doesn't matter. No one's going to believe this shite anyway.
Many times the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
That's your excuse for wanking on the bus, mate, but that's not how it works.
Absolutely.
Jesse Ventura's conspiracy team focuses on the flight recorders from the 2 jetliners that crashed into the World Trade Towers.
And they're not going to actually play anything from them. They're not going to look at them. They haven't actually explained what the fucking hell any of this has got to do with anything, how this proves anything. All that's happened is some black boxes have been recorded, and apparently they haven't gone around telling everyone about it. They thought maybe they'd keep it quiet on the DL until they knew what it was. Because, you know, they're mental like that.
According to the 9/11 Commission, those black boxes and all the crucial information they held,
and literally everything we've said is not involved,
were never recovered.
Do you know what else never recovered? Jesse from his midlife crisis.
According to Ground Zero volunteer Mike Malone.
A volunteer, yeah. Do you know what that means? It means there's no proof or record that he was there.
The FBI found at least...
According to some fat bloke who was there, who spoke to them and they gave him all the answers, yes, the FBI turned up and nicked them.
He's 3.
You actually saw one.
I actually physically saw one.
I physically saw one, and the other 2, I didn't see them, but I felt them. I knew they were there. I had like an aura. You know.
Told you that they found 2 more for a total of 3 of the 4.
So can we just go over that? So he saw them with one, and they voluntarily gave up the information that they had found the other 2. But there's a massive cover-up.
Yes.
How? The FBI have been caught and exposed for information that they gave away for nothing if we'd have just asked them nicely.
Investigator Alex Piper still has his doubts.
Yeah, I bet you are Piper, or I bet you're getting pipes nice and good and proper.
But Malone's story leads him to Dale Leppard.
Oh look, another miserable old sad cunt with a beard. It's like a fucking cider festival.
Leppard has been a commercial airline pilot for 5 decades.
Leopard, Mr. Leopard.
And he's
Is he deaf as well? That'd be amazing.
the expert in aviation accident investigation.
Oh, is he? What, because he crashed a lot?
So in your 48 years in the industry, have you
Oh my God, he looks like some weird religious cult leader.
ever been to a scene or heard of a scene where the black boxes were not recovered?
Have you ever been to a scene like 9/11? No, you haven't, because you never have. But why are they asking this question? The black boxes were recovered. We know this already. It's been established. It turns out they told Mike Pallone. Mike Pallone. They told Mike Pallone. We know this because he told us. They wrote it in the book that they claim they didn't write it in. They put out an advert in the newspaper. They got banners and flew them in the sky that said, we've got the black boxes. They released that book, you know, in 25 called Yes, We've Got the Black Boxes, This Is What They Said. For God's sake, Jesse Ventura, would you pay attention?
No, sir, no. Never once. Never once.
Never once. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that in my life. Anyway, I always found the black box when I crashed, and I crashed a lot. And a lot of people I knew crashed. Many people died.
Were you surprised when you heard that none of the 4 black boxes were found from the...
Right, okay, well, let's figure this one out, mate. He said that he's never heard of it happening before, so what do you think?
World Trade Center site?
Take your sunglasses off. You think you're good looking, but you're not.
Yes, I was. I was quite surprised.
Well, fuck me, this guy is a fucking another riot of an interview. Jesus Christ almighty.
It was a big mess there, let's face it, but...
It was a big mess there. Yeah, do you know what, mate? I've never thought of it like that. There was a bit of a mess there. There's a bit of a rum-do, wasn't it?
They're bright orange colour and they're very easy to see.
And yet they're called the black boxes, and yet they're orange. Do you know why? Because orange is the new black. Figure that one.
What are they built of?
What are they built of? Does it matter? They could be made of fucking... Who cares? They're made out of fucking Legos and Frisbees and someone else's beard. It doesn't matter what they're made of, you fucking idiot. I don't care if they're made out of Rice Krispies. What?
Steel or titanium.
Steel or titanium? Well, thanks for being specific.
Practically indestructible.
They're practically indestructible.
They're designed to withstand the temperature of fuel.
A temperature of fuel? All right, you mean the fuel that blew it up? Right, okay. Is it the temperature of fuel and then an hour's burning and then a building falling on it?
And an aircraft that's burning is about 1,100 degrees.
Yes, but normally planes don't burn like that, do they? Planes don't crash into buildings and then burn and then sit there on fire, do they? No, normally they crash into the ground and then explode and that's it.
Celsius, which is about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
God, I'll tell you what, how much do you guys want to go and spend an evening and go and have a meal and spend an evening with this fucking guy? He is the world's most charismatic man.
Right.
So the odds of going to an accident scene...
Oh my fucking God, this is like Joseph 8276 is interviewing him.
And not...
So let me get this straight. I just want to ask one more time, because we've got to fill 45 minutes up, and I'll be honest, we have done fucking nothing. We ain't got shit. Right. Jesse has just been on his ass doing nothing. He knows the people who watch this are a bunch of stupid fagoozles. You know, they're gonna sit there and we can tell them any old shit. So we just want to ask you the same question that I've just asked you in a different way for the 17th fucking time.
Finding these black boxes are
almost zero.
Almost zero. Wow. Well, we learnt so much from this interview. I'm glad they did this. I mean, you could have had this interview with a fucking tree.
The odds get even slimmer after the governor...
The odds cannot be any slimmer than almost impossible. Beyond that, they're impossible, and that's not odds.
...tracks down Dave Lindorf in the Pennsylvania mountains.
Not Dave Lindorf. Not the mountain man. Lindorf the mountain man. In Pennsylvania. Well, now you're in trouble.
Lindorf is a respected...
Look at that! Another old cunt with a beard! Fuck my arse, what is going on here? Is this some Morris dancers having a fucking laugh?
Award-winning investigative...
Was this the prerequisite for being on this show? You had to be, like, older and have less hair than Jesse.
Journalist. He has his own black box story to tell.
Yes, I have my own black box story to tell. It involves a young lady called Shaniqua.
I'm talking with one of the people at the NTSA.
At the NTSA, right. Okay, you were talking with someone.
National Transportation Safety Administration.
Right, wow, that sounds just riveting. Right.
Which is the place that investigates these
because it's a place, and you just rang them up because you're a curious fellow.
Boxes. And I said, so how many of these boxes did they actually ever find?
Right, okay, and they sat there and went, who the fuck are you? Right, who are you? I don't know, I'm just sat here, I'm just wondering. Like, well, fuck you. I mean, it's none of your goddamn... Piss off.
And he said, do you want the real answer or the official answer?
And of course he probably chuckled after that, because he was mucking around, probably, weren't it? And either that, or this is a conversation you had in your fucking... in your mind. In the bath with the shampoo bottle.
Of course I want the real answer, and he said, well, then that has to be off the record. I said,
it has to be off the record, yeah. And that guy was sat there going, no. Do you know what? He was probably told to say that to any nutter who rang them, because then they're going to end up on shows like this and distract from the real fucking actual problem. From the real scandal, because you're going to be talking about shite that isn't real, about Bob the Builder going and painting the World Trade Center and somehow making it dissolve using a bomb that magically explodes from underneath that causes the tower to collapse from the top.
Fine, so what's the deal? And he said,
and that isn't even a straw man.
Well, the real answer is we got all four of them.
Well, there you go then. Isn't it amazing how easy it was to find this out? All you needed to do was find these sad losers who spend their days phoning up random government agencies and asking them questions that are none of their fucking business.
And that they're now in the possession of the FBI, which...
Right, and they just told you this. Isn't it weird that the conspiracy isn't it sort of detrimental that all of the information... You'll notice nothing they have learned in this entire show is something that they have found out through investigation. It's none of it. None of the information has been acquired through means of their own endeavour. All they've done is speak to people who claim that they spoke to people who worked for the government, and they told them. I mean, it's not a conspiracy then, is it? You know, it just isn't.
Took them away from us. He said, if you want the official answer.
He said, if you don't, well, I can give you the official answer, but let me put it this way: it's the amount of women you have slept with in the past 3 decades.
Called the public relations office at the NTSA and asked them, which I did, and they said we never got them. Then I called the FBI and got the official answer too, which is the answer that.
Because who are you? Who is this fucking garden gnome looking Captain Birdseye? What happened to him?
They gave to the 9/11 Commission.
He's some fantasist, isn't he? Some nutter.
Which is that they weren't recovered. They always find the black boxes.
Right, this should be filed under Reddit/that happened.
Found a TWA one in the middle of the ocean, and here they were finding, fingernail shaving sized pieces of bone to identify bodies.
I know. Who'd have thought if all you need to identify someone's body is a part of their body? It's like, is this Star Trek, for fuck's sake? What's next? A radio alarm clock?
In the World Trade Center, and they didn't find these 4, they're this big.
They did find them, though. We've been told this 27 times. The majority of this show is you having the same conversation with a different type of old man.
These big orange metal boxes, painted orange.
Yes, the orange metal painted. Oh no! Jesus.
Look, these black boxes.
Listen, people, and June. Right? We need to establish something. These black boxes apparently were all found. We know this because fucking Last of the Summer Wine have told us.
Were made to withstand nearly anything.
Nearly anything. Right, they couldn't make it through this show.
Now you're telling me that...
Oh, look, there's a photograph of it. Isn't that wonderful?
They can't find them when they went through this...
They did find them. They literally... What's the story here, Jesse? Did they find them or didn't they find them? Can you please pick one and stick to it? Because I'm confused as fuck right now.
Debris with a fine-tooth comb. And you're going to tell me that they wouldn't find these black boxes even if they were...
How can you... They sit there and mock them and ridicule the idea that they find little pieces of bone, from a human body. And then they sit there and go, how did they not find them? They went through with a fine-tooth comb. Yes, that's how they found shit, Jesse. But they found them.
Charred, burnt, and melted? Of course they would.
What are the black boxes going to tell us that we...
This is like a load of kids. This is like the worst Christmas dinner ever. It's like, let's go see Grandpa. It's like, oh no, we'll have to sit there and we'll have to pretend. He's going to have the war room set up and we're going to have to go sit there. And he's going to ask us to fucking talk to his fucking weird old mates.
Don't already know. The hijackers were in the cockpit and the planes crashed into the building.
I mean, this guy is just such a brilliant skeptic. I mean, listen to him there, just saying stuff, repeating what the government told him.
Alex, are you kidding me?
Alex, are you kidding me? I mean, duh. I mean, what's wrong with you? Are you like,
That's everything. They will tell us what the hijackers were saying, who they said it to, were they receiving transmitted in...
Oh, for God's sake. What do you want? They'll tell us what the hijackers were saying. They were Well, June, I'm going to go out on a fucking massive limb here and assume that maybe a lot of the stuff they said was in fucking Arabic. And then, but even if they had translated it to English, the rest of it would have said, right, where's the over there? Now, full speed ahead. And then they would have just been shouting Allahu Akbar for the rest of the journey. What do you need to know? Do you think there's some secret plan here? They were going to fly the bill. And who are these hijackers that don't exist, apparently? Were they real or not?
Instructions from the ground, what language they were speaking in.
I know, I want to know. Where were these men who are all from Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan? What language could they possibly have... They were speaking fluent Islam. That's what it was, June. Only you need to know this. What could possibly have Khalid Sheikh Mohammed? What language? I reckon he speaks in Japanese.
So as far as to tell us how these lousy pilots were able...
Listen, June, stop getting all sassy, right? Darling, right? You used to host MTV Cribs. You're not a fucking, you can't be fucking waving your hand in the
to
air.
fly commercial airlines into the World Trade Center like they were stunt planes.
I know, like they were a stunt plane. No, that's not a stunt plane, you idiot. That's a suicide mission. Do you know how easy it is to crash a plane, June? Do you think you need some special code or say you don't need any skill to do it?
Where did they stash them?
Well, a lot
Where
of the
did they
evidence
stash
from
him?
9/11.
Where did they stash the black box? Why are you asking? What kind of stupid fucking... From what I've learned so far on this show, if you want to know where they are, phone the FBI and ask them. They will tell you. They'll give you an address. They'll probably send them round your house. They'll send 2 geezers round to reenact it all for you. They'll send you an MP3 of really high quality. I mean, like, literally, what the fuck is wrong with... How did these people sit there and not want to just kill themselves?
11 is stored at a hangar at JFK on the 17th. We asked permission to go in, and they wouldn't let us in, even without our cameras.
I know. How bizarre that an airport would not allow people into a private hangar to look at some building remains. And what are you going to... We won't bring our camera. I don't give a shit. Fucking go away.
And they wonder why there's conspiracy theories.
There's conspiracy theories, Jesse, because you need money.
Let's get on this one, people.
Let's get on this one, people. This shit just got real.
Coming out, Jesse Ventura shifts into combat mode.
Jesse's combat mode, you might notice, is very similar to all the other previous modes he's been in, which is essentially a fat old bloke wobbling around.
For an assault on Hangar 17.
An assault. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Something Jesse hasn't done in a while.
Unauthorized personnel prohibited beyond this point.
Right. Well, thank you for filming yourself doing that, Jesse, because now it means that you are officially guilty of trespassing and you put it on television. So this is definitely not staged.
Let's see if we all get arrested.
Yeah, I bet you won't, will you? I cannot wait to see if you get arrested, Jesse. They're going to come back in with a big long... They're going to get a big white coat with very long arms.
Then, the black box mystery takes a wild turn.
All right. A wild turn. Are you ready for some more of Mike Pallone? Are you ready for some more of that fucking Mike Pallone charisma? The man who... one of the most epic and exciting storytellers this generation's ever seen. Come on.
Just cut it off.
Just cut it off. He's talking about, Jesse's penis.
And later, shocking accusations about who was behind the 9/11 conspiracy.
It was a false flag attack.
It was a false flag attack, right?
On America, by
Americans. Right, well, that's a devastatingly fucking... I didn't see that one cut. It was definitely on America.
Jesse Ventura's conspiracy team has found enough overlooked and hidden reasons.
They have found literally fuck all. Less than fuck all. If we had a plate, it wouldn't just have fuck all on it. There would be a swirling vortex, a black hole where everything is sucked into it with fuck all. Negative one, absolute zero, minus 273. No one watched this show and learnt anything. If anything, we've probably forgotten shit in order to fucking get this fucking information in our head.
To ask even more questions about the events of 9/11. Now, Jesse is in stealth mode.
Oh, he's in stealth mode. Stealth mode and combat mode. Here we see Jesse Ventura dressed like a penguin with a condom on his head, walking towards a hangar to stare at a load of iron beams through a window. How are you not entertained?
At John F. Kennedy Airport.
John F. Kennedy Airport.
This is where much of the remaining evidence from Ground Zero is stored. That evidence could hold many answers.
Well, yes, it must do. It wouldn't be evidence otherwise.
This is the infamous Hangar 17.
Oh yes, we've all heard about that one, hadn't we?
This is a place where we've contacted on multiple occasions.
You've been harassing them and stalking them.
To go inside and see what they have inside.
And they've told you each time to go fuck yourself, you insane old twat.
This building. because there are remnants from September the 11th.
Yes, excuse me, while you're at it, could you, as this is JFK Airport, could you please, exhume JFK's body up from the ground? Because I want to see the evidence. I want to examine his skeleton and his body. And if you don't let me do that, then I'm just going to go round there and just stare at it. I'm going to look at it through a hole in the ground. I mean, it's just... And while we're at it, I want to go to the moon.
In there.
I mean, look at the stealthiness. I mean, you couldn't... I mean, it's like he is... Where is he? It's like John Cena has walked onto the... He just blends in everywhere. It's like a Rorschach test for the eye. Look at him there, with his face peering into a lit window. Presumably there's cameras there. There's no way they could fucking ever know it was him. How could he? He's got a hat on.
I'd like to see him lift that door so we could see what would be beyond that note.
Well, I wonder what's behind that door, but we can't get in.
No access to that.
I know, God, no. Jesse, you said you phoned them, and could you see, and they said no, go away. And you did this multiple times. So why are you shocked that you've turned up, and all the doors are locked, and you can't get in? Maybe they left the key under the plant pot,
Get up here.
Get up here now. Get up here, up this incredibly slight incline.
Get up here.
Look, get up here. Well, I'm at least 18 inches off the ground. Oh my God. Look, get up here with a camera crew. Look, if this is not staged, how are they just wandering around?
This is what they don't want me to see. We've tried to get in this building. We can't even get in it now. The door
is locked. Amazing that a door would be locked at an airport.
You can see girders.
We can see girders. They're clearly making iron brew.
Obviously from the 9/11 site, where they tested for super thermite.
Yes, and they found out, and someone said, we're going to test this for super thermite, and the other guy said, what the fuck's that? And he went, I don't know, I've never heard of it either. It's like, well then let's not bother. Okay, should we go to lunch? Sure.
I doubt it. Look at all that dust.
Yes, look at all that dust on the floor. It must be the super thermite. It couldn't be from anything else.
That's where they'd find it. Why won't they give us access?
Why would they give you access? Who the fuck are you?
To this building. What is the reason for it?
Are you going to answer that question? No, you're not, because you never do. You never actually get any answers. You made this show at the start saying you were going to get answers to satisfy the victims. Well, what have you got so far? Right? What are you going to tell Donna O'Connor, right, who sat there on her own? Donna O'Connor on her own. I mean, what are you going to tell her? Her sister died. Her grandchild died. And what have you figured out? There's some fucking iron bars in an airport, and you couldn't get in. Right? I mean, you could have smashed the window. You could have actually made an effort. You could have tried. You could have committed a crime if you cared. But if that's where it is, just smash it in and grab it. But no, you won't do it because you're full of shit. That's why you're so fat. And that's why you've got your hat. That's what's under your hat.
There's no way in. The contents of Hangar 17 remain sealed.
I'm surprised after you tried so hard to get it open.
But the investigation has only begun.
What do you mean only begun? We're fucking half hour in.
The only way this works is if it's an inside job.
Is the only way this works. No, the only way this works, right? The only way this works is if, like, it doesn't work. It couldn't work. Nobody would do this, right?
Isn't that what we're investigating?
No, Jesse, you're supposed to be investigating the truth.
Here, Alex?
Do I believe that
you can investigate odd job?
The government would set out to kill over 3,000 of its own citizens and bring down some of its most iconic land?
Oh my God, the script writing in this is I don't know what's worse, the delivery or the script writing, but for fuck's sake, could you get anyone else to fucking write this? This is so bad.
Marks now, I don't.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Iran-Contra, you ever heard of that? Operation Northwoods, Tuskegee. You familiar with that? I was a Navy SEAL. I was treading water. I fought the Predator and Running Man.
You're telling me that you do?
I don't trust the government.
I don't necessarily believe the government did it.
I don't necessarily believe the government did it. Right. You don't necessarily not believe that, though, do you?
But I will tell you who I think might have.
Right. Well, that's obviously what the point of this show is for you guys to investigate it and for us to come to the conclusion, and that being whatever the fuck Jesse thinks it might be. I mean, that's what this has all been building to. Hey, Jesse, what do you reckon?
How many people here know what a false flag operation is?
Oh my God, they work for you as your fucking investigators into conspiracies. Are you telling me they don't know what a false flag is? Of course they do. Their fucking life is one.
Yes. You have any idea?
No, none of them. You know what, Jesse? I've never heard of that. We've been researching conspiracy theories now for this entire, and I've never heard that. Wow. Do tell us what a false flag is. I'm fascinated.
Okay.
Could you get Chuck Palumbo, whatever the fuck it, or Gary Baloney, whatever his name is, to tell us? Because he's such a charismatic man.
What it is, basically, it's a lie. It's a deception.
Right, so why don't you just say that?
The government does, in which to get the public to believe something so that they can carry out an agenda.
Right, so it's a lie, is what it is. It's where they lie. Right, great. So it's a conspiracy, is what it is. Brilliant. Well, that's fucking useful.
False flag. A covert operation designed to appear it was carried out by
I know what it is. He's just told us.
another nation or group.
The biggest one I know of.
How can you fucking struggle to find enough material to make 9/11 into a 45-minute program? Seriously, think about this. How can you possibly need padding?
Is called Operation Northwoods.
Operation Northwoods. Called it.
In my opinion, it was clear treason. And what
But the thing is, Jesse, that was Operation Northwoods. This is not Operation Northwoods.
it was submitted by the head of the Joint Chiefs.
It's not Operation... Yes, but Jesse, none of this helps us. You can't say this happened a long time ago, so therefore...
That the CIA...
Do you know what else happened? You were once a respected fucking person. You were once seen as one of the few wrestlers who actually had some intelligence and credibility. Now, quite frankly...
in military would attack certain U.S. cities, and they would make it look like Cuba did it, thus to justify and get the public behind an invasion of Cuba.
And therefore, 9/11 was an inside job.
Now, this never happened because Kennedy wouldn't do it, but it was still...
Now, it never happened. Oh my God. Okay, so you've just sat there and wasted another 5 minutes explaining to us about a conspiracy that didn't happen. And that is proof that 9/11 was a conspiracy that happened.
Placed on the table.
That's not even a fallacy. There's not even a word for that.
In 1961. Now, if you understand that it was on...
This is literally a conversation with your mental granddad.
The table in 61, could it not have been on the table in 2001?
No, it couldn't, Jesse. It's not even remotely the same. This is such poor reasoning. I would fucking slap a 5-year-old that tried to make this argument. My God.
False flag operation?
False flag operation?
Well, the governor...
Well, speaking of false flags, next episode we'll be looking at Dick Coughlin's YouTube channel. Can get McFly on the case, yes. Oh no, I think she needs to get I think you need McFly and Busted on the case. And they're sort of like, they're rivals, but then at the end they join together to become McBusted. And then nothing happens.
Lays out the possibility Jun Sarpong meets a former...
Jun Sarpong?
U.S. Air Force pilot who...
The Americans can make any word sound fucking pretentious. Jun Sarpong.
Claims that's exactly what it
Oh look, another overweight middle-aged man with a fucking moustache.
was. Jeff Dahlstrom was a lieutenant.
Jeff Dahlstrom. Have you ever heard a more appropriate name for this someone on this program? Jeff Dalsbron, you know, Miserable McGray, Unlucky Ted, Suicide McGloomy.
During the Vietnam era. He was one of 25...
Look at him sitting there smoking a Lucky Strike, you know. That's how we know he's cool, because he's smoking a cigarette. Yeah, and that's why Lucky Strikes, by the way, are disgusting. This is why the only time you ever see them smoked by people in the war, you have to literally be fighting the Nazis for these things to taste good.
Former military officers, including a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense.
Wow, a junior vice president.
Who joined forces to challenge the official 9/11 report.
Wow. Isn't that what we were already doing? Could you get round to that?
It was a false flag attack.
Well, there you go.
On America.
And thank God we know what that means.
By Americans, coupled with this.
Look at June Salpong. Look at the look on her face. She knows. She knows deep. She doesn't even know deep down. She's fucking. It's all over her face. She's like, what the fucking hell is this? Please tell me that Jesse Ventura is actually Chris Morris, right? Or Ashton Kutcher, or fuck it, Jeremy Beadle. I don't care, anybody. Tell me this is a joke.
In other words...
Oh, right, yeah. Right. June's just very nervous because what you didn't see is the 27 different Confederate flags that he's got plastered all over his van. You know?
Our military was told not to respond.
Look at that guy. Our military was told not to respond. Dick Cheney's, it was in his secret underground lair, 5,000 feet into the earth below the other secret underground lair. And he gave orders for everybody to stand up. No, down. I can't breathe. Shawaddy waddy. Yeah.
What proof is there?
What proof is there? Well done, June. Well done. You've finally asked a question that is fucking reasonable.
This was a false flag.
Prior to 9/11, back in
Rag, I know what the fucking reasoning is, but it's of no use. You can't sit there and say, if you've got no proof for one conspiracy, and all you've got is a load of speculation and nothing else, and a load of questions that can't be answered, right, or haven't been answered, what you've got is nothing. Right? And you can't say, well, there was this conspiracy, 30 years ago that they planned and they didn't do it. You can't sit there. That is of no use. No one's saying, I'm not one of these people who says that conspiracies don't happen. They quite clearly do. But you can't sit there and say those conspiracies are proof that this thing that we've made up is also true. Because you've got to have a reason for it. You've got to have proof. You've got to have something. Watergate was a conspiracy that we know has happened because there was proof.
Of that year.
The guy looks like Paul Bearer. He actually does. He's got a bit of Paul Bearer.
Was that they changed the rules about hijacking protocols.
Yeah. June Salpong is just desperately trying not to pass out without it.
They basically no longer left that in the hands of the military.
I was a 9/11 truther too. Mate, I was a 9/11 truther up until about the age of 26. Right? I'm not mocking it, so I know. I fucking, this is a conspiracy. This is why I know so much about it, because I used to be one too, right? So don't feel that I'm picking on you, right? I know why what the point they're trying to make is, but it's not an argument. It's of no use.
They had to have a civilian leader.
They needed a civilian leader. Interesting. A person, right?
Such as
any mammalian biped.
Rumsfeld,
who is a lizard.
Or Cheney,
Jesus Christ Almighty. It's like, is there like an agency called Men with No Personality and Beards.com?